Rosies and Weather Boys. And welcome back to Krown's magical Derp Cave.
The Derp Cave is back as we get ready for another day of new opportunities as we look at Bitcoin playing within the current range, the same range that we've been looking at for the past 3 days right here, between $59,000 and $56,000. And now you probably realize why I'm looking at those areas as resolutions, or perhaps you already knew as well. And that is why, because nothing's fucking happened as long as we're between those two regions. I don't really look at anything major going on with Bitcoin particularly. However, a lot of altcoins going to the moon and beyond, and some actually dumping to hell and also beyond. So we'll be talking about that today. I suppose a big focus on that, although we will talk about short-term timeframes on Bitcoin here as well. Hey, whoops, I have the wrong screen up. My apologies right there. I'm going to turn off the alerts and let's get into the Krown Chain application, which obviously can be found at app.krownchain.net. By the way, it's 100% free. And also what's 100% free is the Krown the Krown crypto newsletter over here. Which anyone can view at any moment in time. Our good friend, Mr. Roger, has written them out, and he's a fucking wizard with English and also with markets as well. So definitely want to point your attention towards there because it's actually something that I read myself and actually find it rather interesting and valuable. Anyways, what do we see as far as the Krown Chain application goes? We do see that the Fear and Greed Index is also at a 34, of which we did see about a 7% dump from yesterday to today, which does imply, well, Bitcoin more or less ranging. And yes, we likely are looking at a major low relatively soon, but can Bitcoin trade a little bit lower as we postulated over the past few days here? Yeah, absolutely. Still, however, range resolution is the key to this one, at least in my opinion. On top of that, we do see that the top 10 best coins showing some of the old winners. In fact, Matic big, as we did look at yesterday, up to that $2 number, I do believe. Terra also going a nice little tear itself with double-digit gains. OKB, Waves, Live Peer, Solana, Clayton, Cadena, and Algorand all on the winners list today. A little bit more muted gains for the last of those ones. However, not bad. Into the market data tab we go over here, as we do see that we got global funding rate pretty much at parity. Again, this is not anything too concerning at 0.01%. You have seen it, or at least we have seen it, trend slightly up in the very short term, although over the last month and a half to 2 months, it has been on an overall downtrend since our October high is actually coming in from middle of October. So it just kind of depends on what angle you're essentially looking at it from. But of course, it matters most within the context of price action and open interest. And at the end of the day, price action obviously matters more than anything else, but within the context of open interest, we do see that it's more or less steady in these regions at the $14.5 to $15 billion number, which is fucking insane. And the global leverage ratio also incredibly high as well. So at the end of the day, it is always a major concern in the back of my mind's eye, and perhaps yours as well, that if not Bitcoin, but if the market wants to shake off some of these over leveraged players, well, 10% dumpola is never too far away, or a pumpola as well, as we actually did look at the other day that market shorts actually being a little more on the aggressive side. However, with the global funding rate now kind of coming up to 0.01, which is in my opinion parity, we don't really have that interpretation anymore. It's more or less kind of equal right there. Anyways, what is interesting to me though is that we did see the global exchanges net flows actually have a lot of Bitcoin flowing in. The biggest inflow that we've seen since August, in fact. And August, that was precipitating the September 7th dump, by the way. But more importantly, with that 18,000 Bitcoin essentially sent to exchanges in the last 24 hours. And we've been consistently negative for, realistically the last few months here, basically since August. So that is of particular interest right here, not necessarily actionable in and of itself, but do want to put some eyes on that as we go over to the third page and look at the Fear and Greed Index once again. And I just want to put some eyes on this in the sense that, look, yes, we typically do find some major lows within the extremely greedy zone around the 20s and especially below 20s, but it typically does take some time putting in the lows within the context of that. So for reference, the last major low that Bitcoin put in at $40,000, we did see that the Fear and Greed Index was essentially around that region between about 20 and 35, let's call it, for about a week to a week and a half. And of course, throughout the macro low that we did see over the summer at $30,000, that took about 3 months in the fearful zone. So it does give you essentially a bias that we're closer to a major low than not, but it is not a great it's not a great descriptor of price action. Obviously, that is why price action matters above anything else. Now, I feel like there's a few things that I'm missing over here. Yes, I am missing a few things. I want to say a major thank you for the likes on this video. We have 358. I think this is a new record as soon as the video essentially starts, and we have a new record of people watching right now as well. That is insane. between 1200. Well, good morning to you, wherever you might be in this world, or maybe it's extremely late in the night. Well, thanks for staying up with me, because I need some friends, man. I need some people to talk to, because we got plenty to talk about today. And I expect that this day is going to be very, very interesting to check out a lot of the altcoins, especially. So I'm actually quite interested to see, what people are looking at today, because that can be rather insightful as to where the general market is going, as we typically see the market kind of, move in the same direction with each other, with some of, with essentially rotations going on in between the different sort of subsectors in this market, which, yes, I do think that we are starting to see now, and that is rather interesting. Anyways, my lord, man, I see a lot of good faces in here. I see Nacho Fiat. What's up, man? Good morning to you. Elsa's here. Okay, that's cool. Al Kinsey, good morning to you, man. Wait, what? Oh, Mod Filson. Where is Filson? Where the fuck is Filson? He wants... where is... I don't see him. Filson, could you please comment something? And then I can do it really, really quickly. That's actually the easiest way. Nikki Page, our newly moderated modder, is here. Love it. Absolutely fucking love it. And I see a few other familiar faces here as well. Burnt Creme has the emoticons going on right there. Mr. New 510. Oh, shit. And Dad Rackus, good morning to you. There he is. I see you, Mr. Filson. All right, this has been a long time coming. We do have yet another moderator. Again, if you are a moderator, you don't really need to do all that much. Just... the obvious things, right? When people start spamming their stupid shit coins, or sorry, when people start spamming their very highly esteemed and very technologically advanced that will make you rich within 30 days shit coins, sorry, altcoins, then you can probably send them on a vacation. Other than that, you really don't have to do all that much. We want conversation to be free flowing here. We just don't want people being weird, right? Anyways, okay, cool. So let's get into the price action charts right here. Let's waste no more time. And then Bitcoin on the short-term time frames. I think that we are operating off of this chart right here. Same shit as yesterday, basically. Short-term time frame range is still $59,000 to the upside versus 60, not 60, but 56 to the downside right here. On an hourly closure, yes, I would consider that resolved. And what do you know? Bitcoin gets rejected right at the top side of what would be this falling wedge resistance, which is one of the few falling wedges that actually will call out. The last one that I called it was actually not this one over here, although in hindsight it was one, but this one over here over the summer. So, very, very rarely will I call those things out, because they just have a terrible hit rate in my experience and from my back testing. But this one does have the right volume signature on it. It does have the right shape, smell, size, taste. But within the context of a falling wedge, while they are typically more bullishly resolved, especially in overall macro uptrending markets, it's about, I think it's in the upper 50% regions from my back testing on a daily formation, that is. It doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin can't come back down to that low 54 or 54,500-ish region, and of course fill the CME gap that we spoke about, that was created, of course, on last Friday closure, way on over here, and looks something like this perhaps. And as long as Bitcoin is, essentially dancing around this region, that is, it's still a possibility of happening, obviously. So it's worth preparing for. Not saying that it's destined to happen, of course, as well. But until Bitcoin essentially resolves above $59,000 on spot price action, or 59,500 specifically on CME, both are essentially of the same accord right there, then I do look at this as, well, at best range bound, and at worst, probably does something like this, of which I would be looking for a bounce if Bitcoin did initiate that move. But again, to be very directly clear, because unfortunately, we have a lot of new people here, and that's really, really awesome. I love to welcome the new faces, obviously, and I'm sure that we have some amazing people joining the ranks. But at the same time, I do have to be very careful with the way that I relate these ideas, because where does this idea become actionable? Of course, with the closure below $56,000, obviously a higher term time frame is going to be better than a lower term time frame. Personally speaking, I do think an hourly would be okay. Anyways, and I'd be looking for something like this at first pass, and that actually would be a higher low on your, well, basically any time frame that actually matters right here as well, even on the lower term time frame as well. Anyways, let's go over to the daily and what is Bitcoin doing on CME specifically, which I think is the more obvious chart right here yet again. I think this one becomes a lot more deliberately clear in this case, as we do dance around the 55. And if you are in the program, you likely know why I'm pointing this out. It's due to the Krown cross, or what I've essentially named as the Krown cross. As long as Bitcoin's dancing above there and not necessarily getting opens and closures below the 55, I do look at this as a nice bottoming area. Also in line with what we looked at on over here, not on Ethereum Bitcoin pairing obviously, but on the PMARP. I won't go through the full rigmarole on this one, because I probably bored the absolute ever-loving shit out of you by now with it. But basically, anytime that we have seen PMARP readings that have gone within the context of these two horizontal green bars right here, which is extremely low reads, we have seen some pretty nice bounces to the tune of, on average, or sorry, on the lower end, about 25 to in some cases even 40%, in some cases just lifts upwards and onwards for the next half year to a year. But for example, I'll point out a few examples right here. This last iteration was, of course, course, on the last major low in late September, right? When Bitcoin was dancing around 40,000 bucks. It initially hit the bottom end of that right here, took about a week, it took about 10 days to resolve itself to the upside. And on that first bounce until your next actual consolidation was about 40% move. So definitely relevant right there. The time before that we actually saw a similar read was, of course, coming off of, the old May dump, where initially after that read was hit, it did bounce up extremely aggressively, about 45% within the next 48 hours, in fact. So even though it did take about 3 months after that for it to resolve itself and put in an actual reversal on that bear trap in July, it did give you a pretty nice response right off the bat. And then, of course, the one before that was still into an actual reversal here. So this one's of particular interest to me because I still do think that Bitcoin obviously is in a, kind of a precarious place. I mean, we do have lower lows right now. We don't necessarily have lower highs because Bitcoin has not put in a rally just yet. But this is, this would essentially be the bearish view in my mind, where, we do come down around here, and then you get your bounce up into, into a lower high, essentially right around the 618 Fibonacci retracement. This one even gave you a 28% bounce almost into what was essentially a reversal, a bull trap. And could we get something like that over here as well? Well, I mean, we very well could, looking at the 618 Fibonacci retracement right here, that'd be right around about 62 to 63,000 bucks. So I do reserve a lot of caution about Bitcoin on the long-term scale, as long as it's below there, because that would be another lower high. Now, with that in mind, again, do I think it's more likely for us to bounce, or not for us, but for Bitcoin to bounce here than not? Yes, I do think so. And for reference, and like I said, I won't go through the whole rigmarole with all of the PMARP reads that we do see in the past year, but I can assure you, if you go back to the past few videos, they've been at minimum 25% bounce and at maximum, well, a lot of percent bounce, but I would say between about 25 and 40% is, what we have seen several times. Anyways, if we were to kind of just measure this out, so far, Bitcoin's bounced up from wick to wick. So not even looking at closures, but from wick to wick, 11.30% or so, which would definitely be an outlier. I mean, that's, like half of what you or less than half of what you get even on the lower end, typically speaking, for the last year off of more than 10 iterations, I do believe. So that is significant. And basically my strong opinions on the market right now is that, hey, Bitcoin, if we do resolve the short-term time frame range to the downside, I definitely do think that, or it's not that I definitely do think, I would just be looking for that gap fill on CME down to about 54 to 54,500-ish region. And then my strong opinion is that we would be bouncing up something like that and then actually play out the move. My other strong opinion is, that is my strong opinion is not that that's exactly going to happen. My strong opinion is that if that were to happen, that's likely what it looks like, or Bitcoin just takes out 59,000 bucks from where we're at right now and does the same thing and bounces more first without going lower. That's my strong opinion. I do not believe that Bitcoin's going to be making significantly new lows below 53,000, or what is our current low? 53,500 on a closing basis before putting in a greater bounce, probably sometime this month, with that in mind. Now, I do want to bring up a little bit of a sombering detail over here, because there is a strong correlation, mostly to the downside, between Bitcoin, crypto, and of course traditional markets. And traditional markets on what I think is the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Relevant. Yes, the relevant sector, which would be the NASDAQ, representing the techs and financials, of which Bitcoin actually seems to trade a lot better with the techs for what it's worth, is putting in, well, a head and shoulders reversal right here. Big rejection yesterday, failed to get above what essentially was akin to the $59,000 region for Bitcoin, which would be about 16,400 on NASDAQ, and now playing below the neckline. So that is a technical breakdown. And I would be looking for continuation over the next, week or so, whatever it is, somewhere down around the green 55, which is 15,750. That would imply obviously a little bit more downside before a potential bounce and reversal. And obviously, if that's going to play into Bitcoin, well, would align with Bitcoin probably giving at least one more test towards the downside right here. But so far, Bitcoin has been rather staunch in its area, I do guess. But again, if we go down to the lower term timeframes over here, we should actually look at momentum oscillators and just see if there's anything of particular interest, of which we do see a drive of, actually, this is regular bearish divergence right here. Now, I will say this about bearish divergence, regular bearish divergence. The best drives of regular bearish divergence happen in this end of the RSI zone, anywhere between, especially like in the upper 70s to the 90 region. Those are where the best ones, or even higher than that, although just RSI doesn't really get much higher than that, typically speaking. Very, very rare that you see something like that, although it certainly does happen. And vice versa for regular bullish divergence. You typically want to see this on the lower end of the bearish control zone, and the hidden varieties you typically want to see around the neutral zone. on the same side. So with that in mind, this would not be like a super big one for me. However, it is present. And yes, I do believe that we've kind of already played out the move from that. I mean, that was from 59,000 all the way down to 56. That's a $3,000 move based off of a 4-hour signal on just one drive, and really not, all that much to begin with. However, here's the thing. BBWP, representing volatility over here, is starting to really trend up. So I do believe that we're seeing the resolution of this today. I said yesterday we see it within 24 hours. I think that 24 hours is just about up by now, maybe a little bit longer than that. That's completely fine. But overall, this has given us a good timer that this range is nearing resolution, and it's a lot closer to the bottom side of that resolution, to be fair. So I do think that is worthwhile to be aware of. And if we go over the other lower term timeframes, I'm just seeing if we see any other points of confluence over here. Just looking at the buy hourly, we already see that this one is expanding can you see that? Yes, you can see that. Okay, so beautiful. We expect that to obviously lead into the 4-hour, and the hourly, I'm sure, is already actually is kind of flippy floppy right now and actually trending down for what it's worth. So that one is still kind of contracting within this overall range. So suggesting that we have not resolved the range just yet. Obviously, that is going to be defined by price action. And as far as as far as RSI goes, not really giving me much right there to go off of as well. So let's go over and check out stochastic momentum also just to see if there's anything particularly interesting about this. And we do see that 4-hour Stokes will turn back up above 57,150. Now, is that within striking distance on this next 4-hour closure? Certainly is, in 1 hour, 33 minutes and 45 seconds. But, we are trading about $400 below that right now. So that is not great. Actually, I have two. I have two experimental indicators over here, which both of them are not giving upside signals on that, but they are starting to say that we are waning in direction to the downside. But I don't trust them that much just yet. Anyways, buy hourly will turn back up above 56,650, which Bitcoin is currently about $100 above right now, closing at the same time as the 4-hour, by the way. And hourly is already up as well, as long as we are above 56,450. So essentially, as long as Bitcoin does hold those regions, I would start to, I suppose, look for another test towards the top side of the range. But again, until the range is actually resolved, it's just gonna be the same shit as the last few days here. And I know that a lot of people probably are getting chopped up and shit like this. That is why, I've been a little bit more on the conservative side with this. And at the end of the day, until Bitcoin's above 59,000 bucks, I do not consider this resolved to the upside, nor do I consider resolved to the downside as long as it's above $56,000. Now, there is something very important to be aware of on an upside resolution, because we already spoke about a downside resolution and what that likely looks like. And I should also talk about what it's going to look like if I'm wrong on that as well. Which, hey, I'll just put it out there right now. Look, if Bitcoin closed below 53,500, I would be looking for a full-on move down to 51,000 bucks before the next sort of, general major bounce. I don't think that that's what's happening, but that would be sort of my criteria for invalidating essentially what I'm thinking right now. Anyways, okay, so as we get into it right here, remember, we do technically have, one of the few and far between falling wedges that I've seen in Bitcoin land. And actually, this measure move is going to change now that the resolution point is, not active. Or sorry, at least it's going to, be moving across the time horizon here. But more importantly, if Bitcoin can confirm above $59,000, you will have a measure move and a technical target, depending upon where we kind of resolve it from. But I would imagine it's going to be somewhere around $63,000 to $65,000 in this case. Keep in mind that the 618 bearish retracement in this case, again, the exact same area where Bitcoin did top out on the last failed major rally attempt, which was in May, would be about 63,000 bucks. So that would be a little bit lower than there. So a little bit of caution around that region, but if Bitcoin could get above that region and start to close dailies above, especially 65, that's going to be mega macro bullish, and we can start to talk about, plan B targets up to 80,000, 90,000, whatever the fuck. We'll get to that bridge when we cross it. But for right now, there would be, of course, caution along the way on an upside resolution, not just a technical target, but also at the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement right here, which is just, your half range, which is also in confluence with our prior range highs at 61,500. I would be looking for a pullback around that region and try to set in a low somewhere between 59 and 60,000 bucks after that. Oh, okay, yeah, I can pin your message. Is it already there? Okay, it is already there. Nice one. All right, sweet. We can pin that message. Beautiful. You like the non-urgent title. Yeah, man, at the end of the day, nothing's technically urgent when it comes to charting, at least on like true technical plays, because what actually is urgent, something that's unforeseen, right? I mean, most things you should be able to see, or at least have plans for based off of current structure, and whatever indicators that you're looking at, decently in advance, in comparison to relative to the time frame that you're using, of course. But yeah, so pretty much very, very similar stuff here on Bitcoin as we had yesterday. I do want to once again suggest that, hey, Bitcoin on the higher term timeframes here, look, this thing macro still very much bullish, but do not be surprised if Bitcoin were to initiate a long-term downtrend after perhaps this bigger bounce that I am still looking for. It still could very easily come down just below $50,000 and be in a macro uptrend right here. Understand that this is likely to take some time. And if I'm giving my true thoughts on this, it would certainly not be out of the question to see something like, God damn it, to see something like this, perhaps, if I can get it out there properly, something like this, where Bitcoin maybe rallies back up, puts in a failed attempt, comes back down, and fills out this area over here. This would still be completely fine long term, but it would obviously fuck with everyone, not everyone's, but the majority of this market sort of sentiments right now, because what are people essentially expecting? People are expecting, they're not even expecting, this is what I see actually, and this is actually really fucking gross, but look, people are free to do whatever they want, so let me just make fun of this for a second, but all the time I see this on Reddit and Twitter and shit, it's like, we deserve a Santa rally. Sir, your fucking Santa rally was this. That's your fucking Santa rally. Jesus Christ, man. What more do you deserve, you entitled fuck? Sorry, just kidding. You are a lovely person. However, I suspect that you might have gotten your Christmas gifts early. You might have gotten them early. And why does it need to happen by Christmas? Why does it need to happen by fucking end of year? What is this obsession with these dates? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. So I just want to be on record as saying that, because I do believe I wouldn't say certainly not the only person, obviously, but I just don't understand what the obsession is with all of these YouTube videos and Twitter headlines that I see. By end of 2021, you're going to be rich because we have Santa rally, and buy these altcoins for 100x by Christmas. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck, sir? There's no sort of time frames on something like that. Or at least, as long as Bitcoin is doing something like this is more or less consolidation than not. I mean, look at the volume signature on this. Look at the volatility signature on the higher term timeframes as well. It's contracting. It's fucking contracting. So I don't think that Bitcoin's going to be trending towards new all-time highs, especially as long as it's below $65,000. It's just not really top of the conversation. I think that we're more likely to range for a long period of time, and that would be a great way to just shake a lot of people out of this market and just bore them. Because what's worse than going down? Because that's actually kind of exciting for a lot of people, is going sideways as fuck, actually. So SAF is the worst. Going down is exciting, says Elsa, but not that going down, the kind that your friends do. We're talking about something else. Anyways, okay. Didn't go over the medium and higher term time frame momentum offset. It's over here, so let's go check it out on the 12-hour first. 12-hour Stokes are doing what? They are going to be crossing down freshly below 57,450. Again, a little more downside pressure if Bitcoin essentially fails below $57,000. I still don't look at this as actual in and of itself. And of course, the daily is freshly up and actually going to be trading outside of the bearish control zone for the first time in about 2 to 3 weeks now, with any sort of a closure today above $54,000 especially, and buy daily is Chrissy Crossy, will remain with upside posture as long as we're above 55,450. And again, anywhere within this region, a lot more likely to bounce. The last time that we saw this low on the buy daily, by the way, was actually in March 2020. And let me just remind you of what happened right there. You probably already know, the good old flu. The good old flu. Well, maybe not great, but you know what I mean. Anyways, again, I just think that this market can take a lot longer than what people are probably anticipating. And the weekly is still hard down as long as below $64,000. And this would still be actually a bullish reset right here, just coming down to like the 60 read or so. And that'd actually be okay. But that would imply that this likely takes some time. So the hopium here, like I did say, the hopium more short term for a continuation of this rally and major new all-time highs before end of year is essentially first and foremost closing above $59,000, playing out the full measured move of this falling wedge right here. And that would actually bring Bitcoin above $65,000 if that plays out. Again, I hold my reservations, but especially below $63,000, as that would just be another lower high. And if it were to close above there, then okay, well, we can start to talk about major targets, because I suppose that we would have one major macro measured move in this case, somewhere around like 90,000, I do believe, something like that. Yeah, in the upper 80s, low 90s, something like that would look quite good. So again, long term, I am still very much bullish on Bitcoin. I just would like to keep the possibilities and probabilities open right now, because I think that one thing that that the market is in general, as like a collective consciousness, is not really taking seriously is that December might not be, just rally to the moon and beyond because December, right? In fact, we've seen bearish Decembers before. It wasn't so long ago. In fact, December 2018, you might remember that. I certainly did. Fun times. All right, cool. So I think that we're all through that right now. I think I've spoken your head off on all of this. We're 35 minutes into this video. Did I forget something? I have some notes over here. I did forget some. Oh, and by the way, holy shit, 2,100 people watching right now. Hey, welcome and good morning to you. Good to meet you. If you're new here, you're more than welcome to stay, of course, as always. And I see that we already got 769 likes on this one as well. That's amazing. That's incredible. I'm still just fucking blown away, man. Thank you for that generosity. It's really incredible. Should I talk about Femex? Femex has their good old deposit bonus going on right now. I always want to say, hey, look, with any sort of leverage trading exchange or just any trading in general, don't fucking leverage trade, especially if you don't already have successful strategies in spot trading or if you don't have a good history with it. Trade a demo account, which they actually do have there. So you could take advantage of it that way, meaning that you don't actually risk your finances and you can actually learn and get some experience, which is, in my opinion, the best way to be going about it, because the biggest impediment that I see to people actually learning how to trade is that they lose their trading equity before they actually have enough experience to, well, know if their strategies are going to work or not, which typically takes, in my experience, about a year to a year and a half from what we've seen. So yeah, that link's in the description below for you. Of course, again, I want to be very, very adamantly clear about that. Look, if you're not already successful trading, do not fucking, I shouldn't say do not fucking do it. I'm not your dad, but it's very unwise. It's very unwise. All right, cool. I think we're all through that. I'm going to turn on the alerts over here. Let's see what else has got lined up for right now and what sort of fun comments can we get into today? Crypto Peril, what's up, man? Sushi 5, 15 minute and 60 minute. Oh man, we got some rents to pay, baby. So we got to pay some rents by Friday. No, actually probably by today. It is the second of the month. Oh shit, it definitely is. It definitely is rent time. Okay, hourly is our very low term timeframes. I'd actually be looking for a bit of a bounce, an extension of this bounce from here, maybe back up to about 767 to 770 or so. Let's see, what about a 15 minute? I think you asked about in a 5 minute, 15 minute, a little bit of a local low right here. Yep, I'm looking for a continuation of the bounce, 765 short term. And then if you're very, very low term timeframes, like a 5 minute, same shit again. I mean, you have a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders bottoming formation right here, and volatility is very, very low, as this one does put in a bit of a higher low in reaccumulation on the right hand shoulder. That would be, so yeah, I'm probably looking somewhere short term back around 765. Above there, I look for the hourly to continue probably somewhere around, maybe 770, 780 if things get a little bit more nice. Now, this is not well, not going to be the same analysis as a daily. This one's definitely a laggard, definitely relatively weak, but hopefully that was helpful, sir. Hey, what's up, Sabukni 11. Hopefully I'm saying that properly, man. Can you provide a mover update, a Moon River update? Well, has a great name. Definitely doesn't sound like something that. What is? Oh dear Lord. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Do we have an exchange that has more history though? We do. Okay, we do. All right, it's maybe not as bad as what I was first considering, but yeah. I don't remember the last time we looked at this, but it must have been way back on over here, because once it broke 335, no longer good. That was the hopium right there, and it failed the hopium. But do we see anything on the higher term timeframes that is maybe going to provide a little more hopium? No. In fact, this just looks like it's rolling over. It looks absolutely terrible. There's going to be bounces along the ways, but as long as this thing's below about 335 especially, this is ugly. Now, if Bitcoin does bounce first, would I expect this one to bounce alongside of it? Yes, I would. But Bitcoin thus far is just going sideways, man. So, and it's going to require a very strong Bitcoin for this thing to do anything of note. This thing is just, I think, mostly irrelevant right here, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think it's more likely to very likely try for a bounce from this region between about 269 and kind of 275 where it's at right now. However, any sort of a bounce that fails to get above about 345 to 350 is just going to be, the next lower high before moving to the downside. I mean, this one's actually getting a little bit of a full-on reversal right there. So I do have rules against, against liking a chart like that, but it's more likely to bounce short term. You didn't include a time frame, so I don't really know where to go with that. It's more likely to bounce short term, but I would not confuse bounce with the reversal. Reversal talk happens above, especially 355. Until then, anywhere to 335 to 345 is just, is just a lower high into a bounce as far as I'm concerned, man. What's up, Luke Faulkner? Can you please check out Luna 1.4 and daily? Yeah. So we looked at this one yesterday. It was looking pretty damn good. Let's follow up on this one as well. Let's get Luna up over here on Binance. And yeah, looking pretty damn good right there. Not bad. Not bad at all, actually. So we did get our continuation. We did get our clean and clear closure. Or sorry, that actually happened 2 days ago. So it's just continuation here. That's very good. Very, very good. Are we likely to pull back in the short-term timeframes as you are looking at that? Yeah, I do think so. Pullbacks down to 55 or 57 is completely fine. Long-term, though, I quite like this. But the only reason why I'm looking at potentially a low-term timeframe pullback here is 4-hour BBWP. Extremely hot right there. And we do see a little bit of bearish divergence forming on the 4-hour RSI. So probably looking at a pullback short-term. I do think anywhere down to, yeah, again, 55 to 57 is completely fair game. Wouldn't mean all that much for the higher term timeframes. And this one is a legitimate breakout as long as it's essentially closing daily deltas above 53 in this case. So that would be essentially an invalidation of daily bullishness. Until then, 5-day closed phenomenally. This is actually looking quite well. Maybe I record a video on this one really quick just because this is actually quite an interesting 5-day right here. Yeah. All right, here we have Terra Luna symbol LUNA versus the dollar. We did a video update on this one yesterday as it did resolve its topside range. And I don't believe, did we have any targets on that? Yeah, low 60s, sorry, mid 60s kind of where we're looking for on that first sort of continuation target. And I'm still sticking with that. However, short-term timeframes, more pulley backy here, if you will. The reason why I'm judging that is because volatility hit absolute extremes right here, stayed there for a long time as well. Now kind of coming down below the moving average. And we also do have a little bit of bearish divergence forming on the 4-hour RSI. Pullbacks completely fine. Again, any sort of a pullback down to 55 or 57 bucks is, you know, just another higher low as far as I'm concerned. Daily remains in a bullish posture, especially as long as you're above about 53 in this case. And most importantly, this one closed a 5-day yesterday, and the 5-day close obviously on new highs, did confirm hidden bullish divergence right here, and also is seeing volatility increase. So this represents the macro for this chart. And yes, I do think it's not that I think, I'm led to look at the next target region of about 68 bucks, very likely another short-term pullback right there. And then upon validation above there, I'd be looking over the next few weeks towards, you know, 80 to 90, or basically 90 to 100 bucks following confirmation of that. Again, the only invalidation that I have for something like this is below about 53 on a daily closure. Until then, I like the long-term setup on this one. Maybe we just briefly check on over here just to see if there's anything, you know, particularly concerning. Maybe not. Weekly Stokes remain to the upside as long as about 58 and a quarter. So that is looking good for right there. 5-day just closed last night and actually is not up right here, but this is still a bit of a bullish reset first and foremost, and will be crossing up on the next closure, which is not happening anytime soon, unfortunately, above 62 and 15 cents, but that would look quite good. Daily is also just erect above 48 bucks. 4-hour, I imagine we're probably turning down. Yeah, we'll turn down below 62 and 30. So very, very short-term timeframes, bit of a pullback here. But again, long-term as long as above about 53 or especially 52. I do quite like it. And I look for those long-term continuation targets over the next, probably over the next month and a half, I'd imagine. Yeah, monthly also closed quite well coming into this month as well. So fair enough. Very likely some new ultimas before the next major pullback, at least in my opinion, assuming that invalidation is not hit. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Luna, sir. Cool. King Cosmic says, hello, sir. Oh, there he is. May today bring you peace and prosperity. I love it, man. And you as well, sir. Yeah, let's go look at SPY really quickly here. What's SPY doing today? I imagine going down alongside NASDAQ, but perhaps, yeah, actually more so in this case, did lose 55, but kind of similar to Bitcoin. I'm looking for a bounce right around here. Bounces short-term can very easily come back up, you know, somewhere around the 55, which is 45.50 in this case. I know that you also like the hourly as well. Kind of the same thing over here. I'm looking for a little bit of a continuation of this bounce, first and foremost. And what would look good on something like this? What does that sound? What does that sound? Is it coming from my computer? Can you go listen to my computer really quick and tell me if it's actually coming from it? That would, no, sir, it's just right there. What the fuck? Anyways, I am actually quite concerned with this thing as long as you're below 45.50. Is it? Is it? Uh-oh. Computer, don't die. Or is it coming from outside? Okay, can you go listen outside, please? It would actually be very helpful because this computer cannot die. It must not die. Anyways, yeah, you know, as long as above 45.55 on a daily, I am actually rather concerned about this thing. But short term, more likely to bounce here than not. And I would get, I guess, full on bullish again back above this last rejected high from 46.50 in this case. Until then, well, short-term bouncy, but have to really be looking at daily closures there to kind of judge the long-term direction. And again, you know, looking across major markets here, I do think that this one likely. Okay, it's not the computer. Okay, beautiful. All right, look, man, that would have been devastating right there. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. But yeah, looking at both NASDAQ and SPY, I do think that you have one more stab lower overall after maybe a short-term time frame bounce. Anyways, Frank Nardilio says, when will the altcoins start going up and going parabolic? I don't know. It depends what kind of altcoins you have. Maybe you have some shitcoins, in which case they probably won't. Look, altcoins don't all move with each other. We do have a bifurcated market now. We do have a maturing market in a more serious tone, and you do have to realize that some altcoins are just garbage, and they're, while they will get a little bit of a momentum shift probably near the end of the total market cycle, they're probably not going to be doing all that well in the general sense of it. Anyways, you say that you have AVAX and Solana. When could they start moving? I mean, they are moving. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Solana was definitely moving yesterday. I don't know what constitutes a move in your mind in this case. I want to say this respectfully. I'm assuming that you're probably just you're excited, you're enthusiastic about your altcoins, and Solana and AVAX are great. At least they have been pretty damn good. This one would be moving, in my opinion. You just played out a pretty wild bounce from 180 all the way to 230. That is a 34% move. I don't know what constitutes a move in your mind. Perhaps maybe you're looking for like the moonshot, at which point, look, I'd say, put the fucking YouTube away, man, because you're not going to like what I'm going to say about that. But if you're looking for like the mega move that's going to make you rich off of $5, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I do think that this is quite a good chart, and I do think that it is moving right now. However, when does it start moving? It's not about time. There's no such thing. It's not that there's no such thing as time, but I just don't think that's dependable. But as far as price action goes, if you're looking for the quote unquote moonshot with probably targets up to like 280 or 300, if I'm just thinking off the top of my head, you're probably not looking at that until you get back above about 250. AVAX is also in a general consolidation on the higher term timeframes, I do believe. Yeah. General consolidation between about 130 highs and about 100 base. And I do think that you're probably going to, fill this area out a little bit more, probably something like this, where you come down there, maybe bounce a little bit more, reaccumulate, and then give a try perhaps later. Maybe this is, maybe this is this year, maybe this is next year, who the fuck knows, doesn't matter. But I wouldn't get excited about something like this, more importantly, especially as long as you're below yesterday's rejective high in this case. Above there, I'd be looking for runs towards your prior all-time highs, but I don't know if that's moving to you. I don't know. And of course, there's no guarantee that they do move. Hey, below $100, this thing's going to get absolutely fucking boo-caked. And when I say boo-caked, I mean, look it up on XXX videos. It's going to be exactly that, sir. This thing could come down a significant amount if that were to happen. I don't think that's what's happening here. I think this is still a pretty damn good chart long-term, but again, I don't know what your sort of biases and what you're looking for is, because in my opinion, you saw a pretty damn good move on both of these things yesterday, actually, or over the last few days. These things do put in bases. Elliot Diggs says, morning pimp. I'm a simp, sir. What are you talking about, pimp? EGLD, USD, 6 hour and 24. Okay, got it. So this is Elrond, and this one was very popular earlier this year. Let's see what it's doing now. Not doing something rather nice right now. I'll put it that way. Let's see. Okay, you're looking at a 6 hour and a 24. Got it. All right, 6 hour is a lower high and a lower low. That's not great. Probably looking for this one to maybe trade a little bit further south before putting in a nice bounce, somewhere around 350 or so. But I do think, similar to a lot of the other names, that you are closer to a bounce here than not. Daily suggests actually a little bit lower, somewhere more around about 335 or so on a wick, and then a bounce there. Is this one more toppy long term than not? Yeah, I do think so. I mean, what do we have right here? We have kind of the same setup as Bitcoin in November highs, right? You have a shooting star dildo right here, or a Doge dildo, whatever you want to call it, a signal of indecision, perhaps reversal. We're already trading below it, and I suspect that we also do see major drives of bearish divergence. I think this one's probably topped out for a while at best, and I do think that it actually will work its way down there. So it just depends what time frame you're looking at. Do you get a bounce on the 6 hour first, somewhere around here, around 340? Probably yes. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but overall, I do think that this one does come down much further south. 330 to 335 is kind of where I'm looking on the next daily bounce, and probably does put in a bit of a rally from there. And the hoping would be that it reverses from there. The weekly would suggest otherwise. The weekly is actually, it's long-term very good. Obviously, I'm never going to hate a general uptrend like this, but this thing can be in a long-term uptrend and come all the way down to 175. So keep that in mind. I mean, this is, it's good long term. Again, very, very good long term, but we do have 1, 2, 3 drives of weekly bearish divergence there. So I'm not going to be a humongous fan of that one for like immediate continuation, unless if, let's say, like next week it pops back above and closes above about 370. Until then, I think this one's more corrective than not. Good morning, Mr. BB Guard, SP, XYO, USD, KuCoin, general overview. Okay, all right. So this is I think we've looked at this one in the past. I don't recall it that well, but let's see. All right, not really doing all that much here, but maybe there's another exchange. Well, Coinbase probably gonna have less history, I'm gonna guess. About the same in this case, but fair enough. Anyways, you know, this one kind of similar to the last one. I do think it's consolidating at best. It's not, you know, it's not as weak as the last one, to be fair. But I would be looking for breakdowns and actually big moves to the downside with any sort of a closure, basically below about 4.25 in this case. Until then, sideways is good for the blue loss, but this does look corrective at best here. We do see volatility is again contracting. So whenever I see something like that, I'm looking for a range more than anything else. Daily RSI is not really giving us all that much. The hoping is that you will get a drive of hidden bullish evidence after maybe the next, move to the downside, which, yeah, I do think that this one gives another test down somewhere around about 4.5 or so. And tries for a local low right there. Yeah, 4 hours bearish here as well, or at least downside postured. I don't really get excited about this thing as long as you're below about 6.4 cent on a daily. And yeah, you're probably looking at a move here as well with 4 hour BBWP on the floor. And that one is more downside postured. So yeah, I'm probably looking somewhere into the 4.7, 4.5 cent region. I don't necessarily get full on bearish though, as long as you're above 4.2. Again, 4.2.25, somewhere around there. Richard Theosian says, "Morning, brother." Hey, good morning to you, man. I hope you're doing well. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well as well. Greetings from Cape Town in South Africa. How are things over there? Actually, I don't really know much about it. Come to think of it, can you please check out ONT on the hourly and 4 hour? Have a good day. You have a good day as well, man. South African people, so polite. African people in general, actually extremely polite in my experience. Especially African crypto warlord, who has one of the most scary names, but probably one of the most nice people that I know. One of the most nicest and like considerate people that I know, actually. So fucking easy to talk with. Anyways, ONT. So this is Ontology. I remember this one from 2017. It was an absolute fucking dog piece of a shitcoin right there. And it's been a dog piece of a shitcoin ever since. Never even close to its 2017, 2018 highs. And we don't even have history for that, but it must have been much higher than that because this was coming back from, June of 2018. Which the downside was well underway by that point. Now here's the thing. This one actually is putting in a bit of a base here. And look, even the shittiest of shitcoins will very likely get their day in the sun. But relatively speaking, will they get it in comparison to what you're going to see on one of the more stronger coins? Unlikely, no. So the hopium here is that you're doing something like this, where you are getting some higher lows on the weekly. And that implies that you would still have your higher lows as long as you're above about 77 cents in this case. And this does look more corrective in the short term here on the weekly specifically with trending BBWP. But now I realize that you asked about an hourly and a 4 hour. So I apologize, man. You don't give a fuck about that, do you? You give a fuck about this. Down we go, baby. Oh, down we go. This one looks like absolute greatness, man. Probably back down around 90 cent base or so. Probably tries for a bounce there as well. Hourly, are we going to try for a bounce first here? Maybe yes. Bounces can come back up short term to 97 or 98 cents. Bearish on the short term time frame, especially as long as you're below $1 even. And 4 hour BBWP is looking for expansion right here. So I do expect that you're going to see this move probably today. Again, a lot of things are confluent with a move today outside of the short term, medium term time frame ranges. In this case, your short term time frame range low is going to be somewhere around about 90 to 91 cents. If things get really crazy, I'd be looking towards 85 cents. So fair enough. What about the daily? Weak, definitely weak right there. But I just don't think that realistically, no things are really going to like fully break down the macro structure, whilst Bitcoin is still, not breaking down itself on the macro picture. But this thing can come all the way down to, 78 to 80 cents and still be in a long-term weekly higher low structure there. So fair enough. Just be aware of where you're at. And again, invalidation, because obviously I can always be wrong. In fact, I will be wrong. If you've been here for long enough, you see me be wrong plenty of times. And that's why it's important to talk about invalidations. That's back above $1. This one would be short-term good again. And I'd be looking for it to retest around 110 to 112. Actually, it'd be quite a nice move right there. What's up, Mr. RM? Good morning to you. Block USD 4 hour and daily. Okay. There's no weekly on this thing, as we spoke about yesterday, but we can look at the 4 hour and daily though. Barely even a daily on this. Probably better on like a 12 hour. Okay, gonna fail this area once again. Just does not want to take it out. So fair enough. Fair enough in this case. I probably am looking for a bit of a short-term bounce, pretty much about where you're at right now. But this likely does lead into a breakdown after the bounce. So what do we have right here? We do have a slew of lower highs. We got the same low, so we do have a bit of a short-term time frame descending triangle right there. It lost its good structure yesterday, below 12 cents in this case. So while I probably do look for maybe one more pity bounce right here, any sort of a bounce that fails to get back above 13.5 cents especially is just that. And this one very likely does resolve to the downside, looking at moves towards low 9s to upper 9 cent region. Long term, it's still okay. still okay. Definitely among some of the more strong ones. You know, this thing can come down. I mean, this thing can come down all the way to like low 9 cent, yeah, and still be within in the context of an overall uptrend on your daily here. But other than that, you know, still looking for a resolution above about 13.5 cents. I think you just actually got about it right there. So maybe I was a little bit too aggressive on that, because I was saying 13.5 cents. I do believe it should really be like 14 cents in this case for the next sort of major upside continuation move. Until then, this one actually is looking a little bit more corrective right here. Yeah, this one kind of breaking down right now. Actually, again, volatility expanding alongside, well, I think you might have already seen your pity bounce right here. If that is so, that is actually a rather weak bounce. Yeah, hourly putting in another drive of hidden bearish divergence on the last lower high. So fair enough. Maybe that was actually it. So I do feel a lot more stronger about the downside continuation there, somewhere around 10 cents, and then perhaps a bounce, yeah, around just below 10 cents or so. Let's see, what else do we have? Kathleen White, good morning to you as well. I think we take your intro for granted. How did that come into life? Yeah, you know, it's well, I used to have a really, really good friend who he's just like this great graphical artist, and he put together this amazing intro. We were working together actually for a while. Unfortunately, he has left us. Like, he's left life is what actually happened. So unfortunate, because he was actually a really, really good friend, but it's a good way to kind of remember him. And you know, he's just so fucking passionate about his work, and he'd always be sending me these new intros, and they're fucking amazing. So I always like to play them just because, you know, it reminds me, and it also, like, I feed off of his passion as well, which is amazing. So yeah, unfortunate, but I like to remember him in the best light possible. So BK says CRV USD 4-hour daily weekly. Sure, we can try this one over here. I think that this one was one of the better ones in the last like week or so. And are we still good? Still good long term. I do think that you could see a correction down to about 420 or so, and it'd still be good long term. See, with a 5-day close last night, 5 days still good actually. Perhaps we don't necessarily see a correction down there. Maybe get one more drive to like 430 or so. Overall, I'm still bullish on this one. And as far as the short-term time frame range goes, still the same thing as what we had yesterday. Basically, continuation implied back above 540 on a 4-hour closure, and that would be, well, basically around the prior highs this round, maybe a little bit higher towards 660. I still like this one in the macro, obviously. And below about 450 in this case, I would be looking at one more run towards about 4.25 to 430 and try for a higher low right there. I'm still bullish on this one long term, just short-term corrective, kind of same thing as yesterday in this case. Daily, yeah, not really getting much from this one. It is still consolidation right here, to be fair, with BBWP going into a bit of a contraction. So I'd still be looking at the same resolution point on this one. I still have a bullish bias on this one, but short term, just kind of filling out the range overall. Long term, I still very, 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 very much like this one, especially as long as you're above, you know, on a weekly, like $4, which is very far away. So I don't know if you're on the macro scale or micro, but long term, you know, above that 630-ish target, you know, would be looking over the next like month or so. This thing could actually fly. Actually would look pretty damn good. I mean, this is a long accumulation over here, so that deserves a bit of attention. But short term, still just consolidation. Let's see. Shekar says, "Hey Krown, Cardano, what's up, man? Daily and weekly, please, sir. Looking forward to more crypto sims. Man, I've been really enjoying that, so I'm really glad to hear the feedback on that. Seems like people are enjoying it, so that's great. Sweet, and best of the best to you as well, sir. So Cardano, man, no one's asked about Cardano this whole week, I think, and this one's back down around our 150 base. Oh my god, should I record a video on this one and incite the hatred of the Cardano mob? Look, it is likely to bounce here, but man, this is just a weak as shit chart. Weak as shit, man. Let's see, do we have anything else? Again, volatility is starting to get crunched right there, but I do think that it takes a lot more time still. What's probably going to happen here is you spend a lot of time between that 145 low and your current highs at 170 over the next few weeks. If you see something like that, that's going to be probably your next major low in this case. The doomium is that, there's actually good reason for doomium here. There's actually quite good reason for doomium here. If Bitcoin breaks down, this thing's going to come down to 115, 110. Let's see. Yeah, we do have some bearish divergence on the monthly. Actually, we got 1, 2, 3 drives right there. So typically my target on something like that is the 21, which is 116 to 115 or so. Again, I'm a lot more inclined to look for a bounce first off the 55. It's just these things happen like all the fucking time. I mean, the last time it really tested in this region was a macro base, to be fair. So I don't like getting bearish on these areas right here, but a break below, let's see where the daily is. Yeah, daily closure below about 145, and I guess I would look for continuation down to 115. Personally speaking, I think that you're likely likely to test around there, but not necessarily close down around there, put in a few more dojis around the 55, and then probably give it a bit of a bounce before potential continuation to the downside. Again, whatever Bitcoin does, this thing's going to mirror, except to the downside, it should outperform, and to the upside, it should underperform, most likely. So going sideways within this region would be, kind of like the next piece of the puzzle if this thing is going to put a nice macro base in here. But I'm really looking for a weekly BBWP to trend down a little bit further before I start looking for like a potential major low. Until then, it's just hopium right now. This is still, an overall breakdown and quite ugly. Yeah, so hopefully that was helpful, sir. Oh, and Lil Trailblazer X asked for Cardano right after that, but 4 hour, we can go look at a 4 hour. 4 hour looks like it wants to retest around 148, 149 region. Still pretty damn weak here. Short term, I would be looking at a breakout above 163.5 on a 4 hour closure, targeting moves towards 174 to 175 or so. Short term, that is. But I am a lot more downside angled here in the short term. We see volatility again expanding from lows, and we do see momentum is obviously downside angled with many drives of hidden bearish evidence right there. So short term, probably looking at least one more grind of your current lows. The hopium is that you get a nice wick to the downside and then bounce back up, kind of similar to Bitcoin. Maybe getting a wick down to 54,500, and then a quick bounce up. That would look quite good for a little bit of a fake out and a bear trap. Abeka13 says storage 4 hour and daily, and sure, man. And thank you. Sweet. All right, let's go check this one out. This one was also among some of the better looking charts that we saw over the past week, and did play out pretty well right there. Actually, I imagine the 5 day closed. The 5 day didn't close perfectly, so it is very likely to pull back a little bit more from here. I would be looking for higher lows anywhere kind of where you're at right now, maybe a little bit lower towards 2.25, between there and about 215. Let's see what the lower term timeframes look like. Yeah, lower term timeframes similar to Cardano do look like they, and many other things look like they want to maybe give one more drive to the downside, in this case at around 220 to 222. But I would be looking for bounces around there. Again, long term, this is actually quite a good chart. Retesting your prior macro range highs, it's likely to sell off from those regions. I mean, that was expected as we did call the move, I think, way back on over here in late November. And then you got to be looking at the weekly for the long-term setup, of which this is good. I just think that it takes some more time. I really like the weekly jewel signal right here. I look at that one is still active. So yes, it did start, way back on over here, but I think that one still has more over time after a little bit of a short-term pullback, maybe down to low 220s or so. Still resolution same points above about 3. Sorry, is that 3? Sorry, more like 290 on a weekly. Until then, good long term, just short term, bit of a pullback and consolidation after hitting its prior highs. Anyways, Rikio says, "Sir, Ethereum USD, please," on the 4 hour daily. Sure, man. Let's see, what is Ethereum? Ethereum's kind of the same thing over here too. So the 5 day close last night, and the 5 day close phenomenally. I mean, again, this is really good stuff right here. However, you can very easily pull back down to even 4,300, and this would still just be, continuation of trend. I mean, that'd be fine. Let's see. Should I do a video on this one? Yeah, let's do a video on this one. All right, here we have Ethereum versus the dollar. And what do we see? We do see, motherfucker, I'm not recording. We see no red dot on the recording is what we see. God damn it. Sorry about that. Apologies. And yes, I'm not taking the Lord's name in vain. I'm just expressing myself in very lazy ways for anyone who happens to be thinking of making a comment about that. Because I know what's coming, man. I know it's coming. Okay. Here we have Ethereum symbol ETH versus the dollar, and we just closed a 5 day last night, of which this was particularly significant because we did confirm a nice local low right here. And whilst I do believe that you could very easily see a pullback down, even at 4,300, this is still a long-term good setup. Going down to the daily over here, do we see anything of particular interest? Yes, we did test around our $4,800 target. You're getting your first pullback from there, basically your prior highs. That's very much to be expected. And I'm just going to be bullish on this thing as long as you're above 4,300, especially looking at daily. We played out the bullish divergence right on over here. Obviously, daily volatility is starting to actually trend to the upside, which is good. We're above the moving average on that, so that is a good sign that we are looking for continuation on the general trend. 2 day is the same thing as well, and closing 2 day as well. Not to use a bad alliteration, but any sort of a closure above 47.75, and I'm looking for continuation towards probably low 5,000s. Weekly, again, same thing over here. Or sorry, 5 days, same thing. And weekly is seeing extremely low volatility rates. So we're seeing low volatility on basically all of the higher term timeframes. This does suggest that we are within the context of a macro move. I do want to talk about invalidations here and where it actually get bearish. In this case, not 4,300. That just invalidates the short-term bullish setup. Where it actually get bearish on this thing is below 4,100, the same area as before on a daily closure. That'll look quite nasty. Short-term timeframes, are we still more corrective here than not? Yeah, could very easily come down to 4,400 short-term and try for a bounce there. I'm just looking for higher lows at this point. You got your higher lows, especially as long as you're above 4,300 in this case. Do we see anything concerning on this metric? No, in fact, we actually would have, or Ethereum, better said, would have hidden bullish divergence if it can put in just a higher low anywhere above 4,300. So that is rather comforting as well. And let's just go check it out from a stochastic momentum oscillator perspective as well, just to double check here. 4 hours down as long as below 47.20. So again, short term is corrective. Hourly is flippy floppy, but technically up right now above 45.20, which we are currently 30 bucks above at this moment in time. 12 hour is going to turn down below 45.70. Daily is up as long as above 40.80. 2-day is up fresh as long as above 42. 5-day is we'll turn back above 47.50. So, again, very, very short term, a little bit corrective. Long term, I'm still a big fan of this chart. Do want to bring it up over here, obviously, as well as we did look at the monthly, and the monthly did close above the topside trend band. So I'm still looking for volatility expansion alongside trend continuation in this case. And we still do have this measure move based off the prior technical formation. I believe this was like one massive cup and handle over here, just a reaccumulation up to the 1.618 Fibonacci extension, which is 54.40. So that'd be more long term, obviously, perhaps later this month, assuming that invalidations are not hit. Until then, short-term corrective, long-term still quite good. In fact, one of the more interesting charts in this market right now. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Ethereum. Nice. All right. That was good. Cool. Gemini Athlete, he's back. Matic 4 hour and daily about to break out. Yeah, man, that one was actually very interesting to look at yesterday. So let's pull this one back up. Where's my Matic? Matic, please respond. There we go. Yeah. Oh, wow. Powerful Matic. Yeah, very powerful Matic right here. Very, very powerful Matic. So let me just take a sip of this water, and then we'll probably record this one as well. I see a comment out of the side of my eye by OX Lapras. Hey, Krown, here's some LSD funds. Thanks, man. Appreciate you and your huge shout out to your psych series. Thanks, man. I actually really, really appreciate that, because that is one of the things that I'm extremely proud of, because I really want to at some point create like a more structured version of that, or maybe even write a book. So I do feel like there's some ideas that I want to, in order to properly articulate them, maybe I need to write them down, perhaps to make them make more sense. Anyways, well, oh, you're asking about Matic as well. Okay. Do I ever use Super Guppy anymore? Super Guppy is fine. It's just a bunch of moving averages, man. So I like my moving averages over here. I like to keep things a little more on the simple side. We can definitely look at them, but I don't really care to trade off of them. They kind of tell me what this already tells me to begin with, and I find it just, redundant in a lot of cases. But yeah, we can definitely look at Matic. Here we have Polygon, symbol MATIC versus the dollar, and we have, we have hit our targets from yesterday, I do believe, at two and a quarter right there. Beautiful, selling off the selling off the retest of your prior all-time highs. This is good. It's to be expected, yes. But is this one more likely to break out from here than not after this nearly? I mean, this is like nearly an 8-month-long consolidation right here. Volatility and momentum would say yes. In fact, daily Jewel is giving you another fresh signal, or sorry, it's not actually fresh. This one started way back here in 20th of November, but fair enough. It's been going for a few days. Volatility is still just absolutely erect right there, which is beautiful. And daily RSI is freshly breaking back in the bullish control zone. So I do think that it actually does have, or at least has a good posture here to actually potentially break it with any sort of a daily closure above 225. 5-day, how did we close that one last night? Beautifully, very, very good. We have another higher low right here on the macro scale at 160. So now invalidation for macro bullishness is below, essentially, let's just call it 170, make it nice and simple on this one, but looking pretty damn good right there. Again, volatility looking like it does want to trend up on this time frame as well, so that is a good signal. Lower term time frames like a 4 hour are hitting extremes right here, so I wouldn't mind a short-term time frame consolidation. However, if I look at my other momentum oscillators, they actually do say that this one could actually very easily break it today. So fair enough. What would I consider a full-on break on a 4 hour, and what would I consider a reasonable target above there? A break on a 4 hour would need to be above about 240. So that is drastically different than a daily, which would just need 2 1/4 in my opinion. But there are major technical targets after that. The first and most obvious one would be around your prior all-time highs, which is 288 to 290 region. And then long term, that would be an implied target all the way up to about 375. Maybe in the following weeks at the 1.618 Fibonacci extension. So great confluence right there. That would look quite good, man. That would actually look very, very good. One of the more interesting charts here, in fact, short term, that is. Let's just go double check it over here. I'm curious to see if this also agrees, especially on the daily 5-day. Well, in fact, it's actually freshly crossing up. Very, very good. So we just got that closure last night. 2-day is going to be closing tonight, and that one's staying up as long as above 158. Great. Daily is freshly up and into the bullish control zone as long as above 173. Excellent. Full hour is flippy floppy right now. So I do think it actually will have a chance this week. Lower term timeframes, I'm not super gung-ho about in this case. You could play it a little bit more of a pullback. That's completely fine. I remain short-term bullish as long as you're especially above about 196 on a 4-hour closure. Until then, all higher term timeframes are bullish. Just want to see resolution above the top side, and well, then I'm looking for volatility expansion alongside trend continuation in this case. This is one of the more mature and interesting setups here over a long period of time. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Matic Sir. Sweet. Yeah, very, very nice one right there. Very, very nice one right there. Al Kinsey says, Krown, love your work. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. EFI daily, weekly. Sure. Okay, symbol EFI. Okay. Efinity again. Poloniex maybe. Not great. Maybe we have another exchange here. Well, at least this one is in a long-term uptrend, so that's good. The problem is that you can be in a long-term uptrend and still come down to about $1.50. Anyways, you're looking at a daily and weekly. Okay. This chart is actually really illiquid, it looks like. Maybe we go back to Poloniex. That makes a little more sense. Short term, I'm looking for a bounce here. Probably bounce back up to like 190 to 195. That's probably not what you're concerned with. Daily. I would get quite bullish on this one, looking for new all-time highs above 210 is where that one starts to flip around. Weekly is actually still long-term good for the history that we have, which is not much, so that's not too helpful, and I don't feel too compelled by that, but maybe we can go on OKX. Same thing on OKX. Okay, this is actually much better, and I guess I've charted this one before as well. So on a resolution above your top side resistance here, I do have a technical target all the way up to the 1.618 Fibonacci extension at about 255 to 260 over the following weeks. That'll look pretty damn good. Again, short term, the question is, do we come down a little bit more to 155, or do we try for a higher low right here? Whichever one happens, I'm still kind of biased towards that in the long term. This one actually is okay. Sorry, I said 155 earlier. That could be as low as 150 in this case, 150. But yeah, but above your top side resolution, I'm looking for big bad moves to the upside. So hopefully that was helpful, sir. Let's see. There he is, Jack. Oh, we just got Matic, so all good there. I'm sure that you'll have another one. Okay, Matic versus Ethereum. Got it. Elsa goes like, no. He changed it. He changed it. I get it. You can just say he changed it. I get it. Let's see. Maybe we try Bittrex, perhaps. Yeah, Bittrex has more history here. Okay, wow, this is actually quite good. It's quite good. It's quite good, Mr. Jack. You are kind of retesting your prior or your macro range highs in this case. So I always kind of get a little bit. Well, I mean, that is your higher low right there. Yeah, this could actually be the move that does break it. Momentum also is certainly more bullish. Volatility is trending up here. I just want to see a closure above 50,750 butyrols. And then, yeah, you got your macro break here out of a long form base from, August. So that'll look quite good. But I probably would be looking for a short-term pullback based off of the retest of that region to begin with, which I think you're more interested in, or perhaps you're interested in. Yeah, 4-hour BBWP's hidden extreme. So, maybe one more extension on this one, and I'd be looking for a bit of a pullback from this 50,500-ish region right there. Still long-term really, really good. And I do think that this one likely does start trending against the Ethereum pair, and actually just looking at the charts against each other, both pretty damn good charts over the long term, but I think Matic's a little bit better in the short term, whereas Ethereum's more consolidation right now. Let's see. Ben0613 says XCAD. Okay. XCAD. All right. XCAD versus the dollar. Not bad. Not bad, actually. Quite good here. Actually, really, really good. This was quite a surprise. Okay, so we do have multiple drives of hidden bullshit. Verdance on the last low. Great. You're back around your range highs. Regained all major moving averages right here. Volatility is declining throughout this whole correction. I just want to see a closure above this rejective high right there, whatever we charted last time we looked at it. Maybe it was yesterday at 737. Above there, I look for a retest of your prior highs and very likely new all-time highs. This is actually one of the more interesting charts yet again today. Now, full hour, if you are on the short-term time frames, which I don't know because you didn't specify, does look like you pull back from this region first. Again, oscillating between about 520 and 737 is good for the BULAs. But if I am looking at the short-term timeframes, it does suggest maybe another pullback down, to 6 3/4. I would be not short-term bullish anymore, meaning that it's no longer in a good posture for upside continuation short-term. If you do drag back down below about 645 in this case, because you do actually have a little bit of hidden, or sorry, not hidden, but regular bearish divergence forming right there. And well, overall is pretty good. It's really what I want to be saying, man. Probably gonna be okay here. You know, on a confirmation of a break of your current all-time highs, I'd be looking for extension first to about 910 and then come back to it after that. Will look quite good. Sweet. John Davidson, appreciate that, man, but feel free to have a message as well, sir. Sweet Lou at Isle Equity. That's very it's very direct, man. Hi from the Ozarks. Thanks. Hey, holy shit, just a nice positive message, man. Hello from Suwamis. There you go. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to say hello from Finland in Finnish, but I don't know if that works. Moika Suomesta. Imagine that. Shane Bosch, what's up, man? Hey, Krown. Mara on Nicey Daily and Weekly. Sure. All right. So this is a Bitcoin miner over here. So this will actually be very interesting to look at because you do expect the miners to be, you know, somewhat healthy. If Bitcoin's going to be healthy as well. And long term, kind of similar to Bitcoin, I do quite like this chart. Obviously, you are within the context of a macro reversal right here. But are you playing out more of a short-term time frame range? I do think so. But what time frames were you on? Daily and weekly? I do want to check out the monthly. Yeah, the monthly very likely does play back down towards $41, but I'm not bearish on this thing. I am going to be long-term bullish on this thing. This thing is a macro reversal as long as you're especially above about 25 on a monthly. I know you didn't ask about it, but that I think that's just a little more clear right there. Weekly is still, you know, somewhat corrective here. You will have hidden bullish, or no, you will not have hidden bullish evidence if you put in a local low right there. So, you know, whether it comes down to 35 or puts in a base here in the mid 40s, I don't have a strong opinion on that. My strong opinion is on the higher term time frames like the monthly in this case. Daily is more of a range. Daily range basically is very, very simple actually right here. Below 47. I do look for that breakdown towards your mid 30s, which I actually would be looking for a major higher low right there. Short term, you know, break above essentially yesterday's high, and you know, I'm probably looking for this one to trend back up somewhere around about 67.5. Long term, however, I think that you're going to be spending your time consolidating right here. To be fair, again, you are kind of working off extremes on monthly BBWP, so more likely to spend maybe another month or so going sideways here, and then perhaps give a try in early 2022. Cool. All right. Noah97 says NTVRK. Okay, this is a completely new one. All right, NTVRK. All right, it's on TradingView, so that's a good sign. I guess. Daily, please. Weird looking chart. Well, let's see. It's not a weird looking chart at all, man. It's actually quite a good looking chart. It goes up into the right, baby. Goes up into the right. Another drive of hidden bullish evidence right here. I'm looking for this one to continue, man. Look, I have to be bullish on this thing, especially as long as you're above about 580. This thing is bullish, and I guess we can come up with maybe some areas of interest. I don't know how much I trust this being this new. Okay, so you are kind of being held back by the 1.618 off of that range at 704. So break above 704, and yeah, I am looking for moves towards $9.50, $10 in the following weeks, with an invalidation below about $6 in this case. Quite good. Quite good right there. Interesting chart. Just hasn't been around for that long. That's the only issue with it. And we have 1,200 likes on this video now. Holy fucking moly, man. Good morning to you. Why are you here? I don't know, man. You're on the weird place of the internet, but you're more than welcome as well. Anyways, Leif Almberg, definitely Swedish, says LTC. Or maybe you are Swedish. I don't know. Litecoin. Okay, so you want to... Oh, man. Or Norwegian, yeah. Could be Danish as well. Litecoin, man. So you really want to go deep into the shitcoin drawer today. I suppose I respect that. Everyone's entitled to what they want to do, obviously. You know, long term, is this thing not going to follow the rest of the market if Bitcoin pulls through here, which I am macro bullish on Bitcoin, obviously. You know, very likely would. But where do I get excited about something like this? Above 280. And even then, I mean, this is just a perennial fucking loser of a coin. The problem is that, you know, if you're thinking in terms of a beta weighing things between like Litecoin and Bitcoin going up, you know, is not going to be respected as much by Litecoin, meaning that when Bitcoin goes up, it's probably not going to follow as much. And when Bitcoin goes down, this thing's going to get fucking wrecked. So right now, the hope is that you do have a higher low right here. Let's see what it looks like on a daily. All right, we can actually chart this one out in the daily very, very simply. All right, so any sort of a daily closure below 190, and I do look for the next major leg down. In this case, my area would be about 165 to 169. Until then, I guess I do treat this area as a potential local low right here. I just want to see this one trade back above and especially close above about 235. If that happens, I'm looking for another retest of your 280 to 295 rally. And then, you know, above there, this thing probably does go on for a bit of a ride. It's going to be much easier to watch Bitcoin just because if Litecoin's doing something like that, it's very likely that Bitcoin has already, you know, gone above, let's call it $60,000 in this case. Or maybe Walmart once again announces that they're going to be accepting shitcoin, Litecoin for payments. Man, it was, oh my God, man, I need to talk about this for a second. So during that day when there was a fake news of Walmart accepting Litecoin for payments, I was on crypto Twitter, which is the best place to be whenever you see something like this. And I read through the thread of like the major announcement on whoever's social media channel. It's like, it was a big one, right? And then it was all of these, and this was like a minute after it happened, like right fucking fresh. And a minute after that happened, there was just all of these people with Litecoin in their Twitter profile name. And they were all like, man, I knew I was going to be rewarded for holding Litecoin. This is such a great project. I've been holding this thing for 4 years at a loss. And this finally is going to turn it around for me. I'm going to be able to pay off my, sorry, this is not funny, but it is kind of funny. I'm going to be able to pay off my debts. Look, I know how much it sucks to be in debt. I know how much it sucks. But look, I'm going to pay off my debts. I'm going to pay for my fucking college, whatever. It's like all these people, message after message after message, people who are elated that they're just, look, this thing's fucking garbage. It's like the creator will tell you that himself. Charlie Lee will tell you that himself. Okay, I'm not saying anything that's out of turn here. And then 20 minutes later, I knew it was a scam. It's a fucking scam, man. I got scammed by Litecoin. God damn it. No, fucking no. Oh God. I hope that was helpful. Please don't hate me after that. Look, I'm talking about charts here, man. I'm sure that you're great as a person. You know, we all get it. We all get addicted to weird things, man. Some people get addicted to, some people. I'm not completing that statement. That's going to go in a terrible place. We're just going to move on. Twan Wallet says, some people, like I saw earlier in the chat section here, are believing that Craig Wright is Satoshi, and maybe he is. The courts will prove. I've actually been reading the court reports, I guess, and this is just my interpretation of it. I don't actually know, but it would seem from her notes, it's not going too well for him. And but look, hey, some people believe that. Some people believe that, Epstein didn't kill himself. Some people believe that Michael Jackson really loved kids in a platonic sense. And some people believe that the earth is flat. I mean, this is all good stuff, right? And we're all entitled to believe what we want to believe. Some people get addicted to drinking fucking bleach and detergent. I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. And I got addicted to trading Magic Internet money. So I don't separate myself from these amazing people as well. And there you go. There you go. Michael Jackson always puts a smile on my face. He's great. He's the best. He's the best raper of all time. No, best singer, rapper. He built a fucking carnival in his backyard just so he could fuck kids. Like, that is so insane. That is so insane. Like, think about how much you really love. You probably have not created a carnival or the equivalent, maybe like a makeup station if you're into grown-up females. And also males could be into that as well. You probably have not built that in your backyard to attract females to your house. He did. That's how passionate he was. He truly loved these kids. He was calling them on the phone for like 4 hours. I watched The Leaving Neverland, and you know what? I've never spoken to Elsa for 4 hours on the phone, not even once. So what does that tell you? Michael Jackson truly loved those kids.
No, that just means you don't really love me.
It also means I don't love Elsa. All right, Moon River. We looked at this one earlier. Very uninspiring chart here. Again, it's probably going to mirror whatever Bitcoin does. I think you're kind of on the precipice of a bit of a... Oh yeah, I remember what we said earlier. Short term, a little bit of a bouncy bounce. Any bounce that fails, get back above about 345, I think it was. And I'm looking for just one more leg down, and the real bounce probably somewhere around about 265 or so. Anyways, Sean Waller, and now that one was like right at the beginning, if you want a more in-depth analysis on that one. Sean Waller, good morning. Hey, good morning to you as well. Ian, Eric and Elsa, got it. What's my name again? I just wanted to say I appreciate that, man. Really appreciate those sentiments, man. That's awesome. Wow, it's just a nice positive message. Yeah, man. And that's really where I want to be coming from as far as like YouTube goes. I always want to be providing, look, here's what I'm looking at. Here's what the data says. I don't want my opinion to get into the way of how you interpret this. Just look, here's the statistics, and I can show you how I'd trade it, but you know, everyone can draw their different conclusions from that. I mean, people can trade basically the same sort of technical strategy, but apply it in very, you know, slightly different ways and both be successful. I mean, it's there's so many different ways to do it, which is awesome. Makes it fun game. George Michael P says, do you think QRED is about to move into phase H of the Livermore chart? I don't know what the fucking Livermore chart is. I know who you're talking about. Okay, Credo. Is it going to move into, okay, well, is phase H bullish? This is actually quite good here. I'm looking for this one to trade back up towards the highs of this rally over the next week or so, $9.50. It's quite good. One of the more interesting charts that we've seen today. However, if this, oh, okay, hold on. I think I'm getting a little bit too excited about this thing. No, we do not have a range resolution here just yet. The range is not resolved. Above 805, it will be on a 4 hour. And then, yes, I would be looking for that $9.50 region. And don't get me wrong, this is actually quite a good chart overall. I just think that it is showing a little bit more signals of likely to range within this region between about $8 and about $5.50 base for a little bit of a longer time. Now, I'll be wrong on that if this one does trade back above and close above $8. And yes, I would still target that same move. Until then, you know, is this thing a little more likely to come down right here, contract a little bit more? Well, we actually don't have bearish divergence even on a 4 hour, so fair enough. Okay, let's 12 hour. I mean, all of these are good and implicative of reaccumulation right here. The question is just when. So I don't think I have a good answer for you. If I'm looking at a 12 hour, it does have a bit of an inverted head and shoulders right here. The resolution point is still the same, so this is really unhelpful, but the technical target probably a little bit higher than what I'm postulating here. That'd actually be, yeah, pointed up towards $10.50. Look, I like this chart as long as you're above about $6. I just think that you could spend a little more time going sideways in this region. Those are kind of my resolution points on something like this. So hopefully that was helpful, but you know, this chart deserves respect. I mean, look, it goes up and to the right. Always going to like that. How did the 5-day close yesterday? Quite good, quite well. Yeah, bullish as long as you're above $6, especially on a daily. Cool. Sweet. Yeah, and I'm not super familiar with. I do know who you're talking about. Obviously, Jesse Livermore. He's a market wizard, and I've read it. Was he the author of? Was he the one who did what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. I forget if that's him or someone else. You know, he's legendary, obviously, and I know what you're referencing right there. I'm not familiar enough with it to say yes, that is definitely what's happening right here. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Burnt Krem says, hello, Mr. Elsa. That's me. Wait, what? The fuck? Link on the daily, not following Ethereum or Bitcoin. Yeah, Link is very consistent in not following anything, for better or worse, and most recently for the worst. But let's see, Link over here, 5-day closed. You know, the hopium is that this is your next higher low right here. Would you have hidden bullish divergence? You would actually, but this is still very much unconfirmed. The most aggressive way of confirming this would be just a wick higher than the last 5-day high, which is 27.87. A more reasonable way of doing it would be a daily closure above about 28 in this case would do it for me. And look pretty damn good for a nice major low in this case. But still, this one kind of reminds me of Matic in a sense, but not as mature within its consolidation. The reason why I say that is because you got something like this going on right here, where you can see that there are signatures of reaccumulation. How does this, you know, eventually go out? Does it do like this? Does it do like this? I don't know. So I'm a lot more inclined to say that this one's a lot less mature. Monthly suggests that we could very easily come back down to $20 base and try for a bounce there, and that would be our next macro low. So I'd be a little more cautious on this one. While I do think it's a lot more likely, similar to Bitcoin, to bounce before going lower than your current $22 or $23 lows. Be aware of where those pain points are. Above $28 good, below $28 just, well, doesn't really do too much for me, but we are starting to see some signs of slowdown right here. I just want to see maybe one drive of bullish divergence, so that would imply that it maybe does come back down around the current low side structure at $23, and then you give a bit of a bounce. But overall, still corrective here. I don't think that it's, I still don't think that it's exciting anytime soon. Yeah. And I would agree, it's not really following Ethereum or Bitcoin. It's definitely doing its own thing. J3F says Solana USD for our daily, and wish you the best as well, man. Yeah, let's go follow up on this one. We did not record a video on this one the other day, but should have, because this one is one of the more interesting ones here yet again today. All right, Here we have Solana, symbol SOL versus the dollar, and this one continues to play off of our ranges really, really well, so that is good, and a really good sign that it did bounce off the $190 region, which is excellent on a closing basis. So I'm, again, going to be long-term bullish on this thing as long as that is consistent. Did play out, obviously, all of the bullish evidence from this one right here as well, and daily volatility is actually starting to tick up here. So I do think that this one will have a chance to actually resolve above its medium-term time frame range at 231 on a daily closure. If that happens, I'm looking for a full-on leg up towards about 250 and very likely beyond over time. I'd still want to see it, resolve above 250, and then yes, I think the next targeted region was like 280. Let's double check here. Upon a resolution of that, let's see. Yeah, about 280, somewhere between about 280 and 300 is where I'd be looking for in the following weeks upon that resolution. Until then, still consolidating here, but it's consolidating in a bullish fashion, which is great. 5-day closed in a pretty damn good posture right there as well. Sweet, anything in particular? Yeah, we actually do. So this thing will actually initiate hidden bullish divergence on a 5-day if it does basically resolve the daily range, even on the short term. So this one is actually in decent posture right here. Weekly, not getting too much from this, but would kind of have the same thing as what we just spoke about on the 5 days. So not really too much to get on right there. Full hour, is this thing more likely to break today or not? No, I still waited for it to officially break on a daily. I think it was above. What exactly was it above here? Let me just double check. 232, and on a full hour, if I was using this, I'd say above 235 and 15 cents specifically, and then yes, I'd be looking for those same moves. Until then, volatility is a little bit hot on the short-term time frames. I wouldn't be surprised if this one does trade back down around like 210 or even 200. But again, long-term bullish as long as you're especially above 190. So I do like the setup here. It's just the question is this one more mature right now or not? I don't have a strong opinion on that. I just have a strong opinion on range resolution, and I think that's rather clear. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Solana, or maybe just briefly we do this just to see, especially. Oh, I'll do it after this. Anyways, daily is freshly up as long as above 190. Really good right there. 2-day is closing today and is going to turn up with volatility incredibly low right here with any sort of a closure above 218. Currently trading $7 above that right now. 5-day is just closed yesterday and still actually headed down below 246. So fair enough. And weekly is actually gonna be fresh down below 250. So I don't think it's ready for like a macro trend just yet, but short-term timeframes could have a chance here. Just want to see them actually resolve above that range. 12-hour, yeah, 209 and a quarter. So fair enough on that. And I imagine the hourly is flippy floppy all around. Yeah, we'll turn back above 229. Hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Solana, sir. Sweet. Okay, so yeah, we need to make an announcement. Actually, Nikki Page is getting into it. Oh, there he is. What's up, Mr. Meccan? How you doing, ma'am? Can you actually post the message and then I can pin it? Oh, you did. Okay, let me see where it's at then. There it is. All right, yeah, so all of the super chats after this moment, unfortunately, will not be read. Anyone who's posted a super chat before this moment, that it will be read, yes, but after this moment, we do have to close them down. And again, as always, really, really appreciate understanding on that. All right. Oh, Mr. Joseph Valkov, you know what, man? We're going to get you. We're going to get you today, Mr. Joseph Valkov, symbol VET. All right, Mr. Valkov and Vet. Another chart here. God damn it, someone's messaged me on TradingView. Don't do it. It's the worst way to contact me ever. It's the worst fucking way. Don't contact me on TradingView. Yeah, if you have a support request, contact support@krowntrading.net, not me on TradingView, because I actually don't even give out the access, just so you know. It's a waste of your time is what it is. VET, similar to Matic. Long term, I do like this, but it's a lot less mature than Matic. And let me just see how many videos I have. Maybe I record one on this one because it would be interesting to follow up on this. Okay, I already got too many actually. Basically, I am looking for major lows at around 10 cents or so, which was our breakdown target based off of the breakdown below. I think it was 13.5, which we got like a week and a half ago. So that has been met. Similar to Bitcoin, do I think that you could kind of retest around your current lows at 10.5 to 11 cents? Yeah, but I would be looking for bounce around this region. I do not look for a further like major meltdown as long as you're closing dailies above about 10.5 cents. In long term, I do think that you're doing something like this similar to Matic. It's just not as mature as Matic in this case, and that could again come with a few more tests like this. But I just want to see bounces above there and then a nice move to the upside. This one would start to look a lot better on the daily with any sort of a closure above 13 cents now. The same sort of a little bit below the prior breakdown region, but still of relevance right here. And that would make this one look a lot more like Matic in the sense that I'd just be looking for a general up move towards your prior macro range highs at about 1930. Above 1930, that's where the macro rally starts, and very likely makes significantly new all-time highs. If I'm just kind of thinking in math terms right there, probably somewhere around like 29 to 30 cent target upon validation above there over the next few weeks. But for right now, still corrective. I just want to see a higher low being put in right here. Anyways, let's see. Oh, there she is, Nikki Page. Oh, wait, no, I'm skipping Henry. Sorry about that, Nikki. Apologies. sorry, Nikki. XRP order book and following a bottom. Okay, order books are completely irrelevant in my opinion. You do realize that. Okay, I shouldn't say you do realize. That sounds like I'm speaking downwards to you. Okay, should I even explain this? Okay, I shouldn't even explain this. Jesus Christ. XRP order book and following a bottom of Bitcoin at 48,000 is realistic for an XRP bottom at 6. Okay, so basically you're saying based off of what the order book is showing, if Bitcoin were to come down to 48,000 bucks, which I do think that Bitcoin bounces first before a move like that could potentially happen. Can I be wrong with that? Yes, validation below 53,000, especially on Bitcoin. Would XRP be like in a correlative bottom at around 60 to 70 cents? Well, let's go see. I would caution against using order books because order books, like anything, can be essentially, taken off with the click of a button. In fact, a lot of bots and algos are actually designed to fuck with lesser sophisticated bots and algos by essentially spoofing the order book. Just so you know, it's not real. The only thing that's real is the recent trades list. So that's why I really actually caution against using order books. Even though I know it's really, really popular nowadays, I don't understand why. At least I really haven't been able to see like some hard evidence why. But fair enough, to each their own, right? If you're successful doing it, fucking don't listen to me, obviously. Anyways, would I be looking at 60 cents? No, I'd actually be looking significantly higher than that. I'd be looking somewhere around 75 to 80 cents, to be honest with you. Ripple, I think tries for a low somewhere around here. Monthly, where we at? If things get really nasty, then maybe like low 70 cents. But below 70 cents, it's just this thing in the market by extension would not be bullish like at all. It would be a full-on reversal. I mean, this would be a lower high. You'd already have a lower low. It'd be coming down to like 50 cents minimum and probably just a series of failed bounces after that. I'm probably more optimistic on Ripple than the Ripple community right now, which is funny. Anyways, yeah, it's not super hot right there, not super healthy, but at the same time, no, if Bitcoin were to come down to 48, I'd actually be looking for this thing somewhere around low 70s, which is a big move. I mean, that's a 30% move from where we're at right now at $1. Or sorry, yeah, it's about 30% move right there. A little bit lower than that, and obviously more, but fair enough. All right, there she is, Nikki Page. Please check KSM USD for and daily. Hey, all good. The bell ringer as well. All right, so this is Kusama. This one was really popular in the first half of 2021. Now, don't really hear about it too much, but I think that might be to I think that this might be to the dismay of others. This is not bad right here. This is actually quite good. It's just not as mature as some of the more interesting charts that we've seen today. Sideways within this range is obviously good long term. I'm going to be bullish on this thing, especially as long as you're above 310 on a daily. I just don't know how much longer it has kind of also to be between these bounties right here. Higher term timeframes though are bullish. However, it's just they're more likely to consolidate. So what I'm looking right here, Nikki, is that I'm looking for a volatility contract like really significantly. I really want to see it in single digits at minimum. It got close there, but I want to see it there for a little bit longer, which may come with another test of the downside of the range somewhere in like 310 to 320, 325 or so. It's completely fine. I just refrain from getting bearish on it as long as you're especially above 308 on a daily. If that condition were to be met, I'm looking for big moves down to 260, which is a pretty nasty move, all things considered. And long term, I do look for resolution towards not just your prior highs, but very likely majorly new all-time highs with any sort of a daily closure above about 445, 450 if you want to be a little bit more conservative. But I like the 5-day closure. We actually will have hidden bullish evidence right here if this one does pop back above and especially close above 450 or 445 on a daily. That would look quite good. Let's just double check it over here as well. I expect that these are also in good posturings, but let's just make sure. Short-term timeframes are pullback, so yeah, it does kind of play into the narrative that it does have a bit of a short-term pullback. Daily turns down below 322. Okay, 12-hour is already turning down below 400. Yeah, I think that you probably put in a local high right here and work your way down 330 to 340 or so and try for a higher low there. Again, long-term, as long as you're above 310, essentially, I'm looking for. Yeah, actually, that'd be great. Thank you. My throat's holding up quite well today, though. But I do think you're looking for a short-term pullback here. Long-term, as long as you're above 310, quite good. Yeah, I do like that 5-day right there. The doomium would be that you completely engulf the prior 5-day dildo, and at that point, yeah, I'm looking towards big moves down into the mid 200s essentially. Hopefully that was helpful though. I'm gonna take a sippy sip of this. This is I got another death shot over here. It's called curcuma, which I think is what is that one called? It's like another one of those health thingies. Curcumin, maybe? No, it's turmeric. Yeah, it's turmeric shot. So hopefully this one doesn't taste as deathly as the it's not garlic, but what was that? What is that? It's the what's the death drink that you give me with the chopped things? What is that? What's the death drink that you put it? What do you put in my damn tea? Ginger. Yeah, ginger. Hopefully it's not as deathly as that. So let's give this one a try. The old turmeric here. This one looks really, really colorful, I'll say. Okay, it's not as bad. It kind of tastes like carrots.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad. No way.
Okay.
All right, good for another 1,000 miles, I think. Okay, let's put that away. All right, it does kind of have a bit of a kick afterwards, so I will say, wow. Hey, what's up, Shell? One Kim. It has been a long time, man. Hopefully all is well, sir. SRM 4 hour and daily. Sure, man. Such bad price action. Let's check it out. We haven't looked at this basically since you last asked about it. So I remember last we looked at it, it was corrective, and it's been corrective. It's certainly been corrective right here. Hey, again, Nico, we can't. Oh yeah, I'll turn the sounds off. Yeah, we can't do any more of the super chats. We did kind of shut them off a while ago. I do apologize. Anyways, what is this? SRM? Yeah. Okay, so long term, this is actually okay. If you're like on a weekly, which I don't suspect that you are, yeah, you're on a 4-hour daily, so yeah, it's gonna look like shit right there. Basically on a next breakdown, I'm looking for a move towards 430, which would be quite nasty, obviously. Daily, are you gonna put in a bounce here first? Probably yes. Kind of similar to Bitcoin, right? In the sense that 4-hour time frame, does it look like you want to break down short term? Probably yes. Somewhere around about 510 to 520 or so. I'd be looking for a quick wick down, kind of similar to Bitcoin. Something like that, and then put in a higher low and then give an actual bounce. It doesn't necessarily have to happen exactly like that. I would invalidate that and just look for a general up from here. If you do take out yesterday's high, which is 612 above there, I do look for the next bounce target somewhere around about 720 to 730 or so. That would be a lot better of a look than breaking down from here. And you do have some bullish evidence come off the current low, so I'm a lot more inclined to say this one, regardless of whether it bounces from where we're at right now or gives you one more test towards your current lows, a lot more in a bouncy posturing than not, which I think is probably what you're more interested in. If you do break below your current lows on a daily closure, yeah, this thing's gonna get fucking wrecked, but I don't think you're there just yet. And obviously could happen, but I think it's a little less likely, to be fair. Robert Como says, please do DYX on the 12 hours Nicholas Martins. I don't think I can do that anymore now that this channel's like big. Or bigger, I should say. Oh, you man, don't tempt me with a good time. Okay, this is actually quite interesting right here. So you do have a bit of a double bottom. You do have a bit of a W bottom going on right here. It will be resolved very easily above your 1570 high. I guess we have this one in from before, and then I'll be looking for big moves up towards 19 to $19.5. And this would actually look like a major low right here. You technically don't have bullish divergence because you did not close on lower lows right here, but I think this thing's just very, very new. It's kind of hard to be getting something like that. 12-hour. Yeah, I mean, it basically closed at the prior lows. You should have some bullish divergence. I would count this as bullish divergence in this case. That's why it's kind of important to know how these things are calculated in comparison to using the training wheels, as I like to call them. But I still use my training wheels. Why the fuck not? Yeah, I think you're putting a nice little low right here. I only get bearish on this thing below 11.55, and at that point, yeah, I guess send it down to $10. I don't think that's what's happening though. Maybe a 4-hour can reveal. Yeah, this looks like a nice little local low right here. I just want to see it trade above your last little rejected high, and that would be the breakout. Would look quite good. Vault Boy TV says, loving your vids. Thanks, man. Can you do a chart analysis on D-Rep? I read that as derp first, but it's actually D-Rep. Okay, and it's real. So Drep coin. That sounds equally as silly. Not great. Okay, now I see what's going on. All right, well, it's not that bad. At least it's well, at least it kind of holds its lows over a long period of time. Kind of similar to all the other charts that we've seen today, in the sense that long term, you're in one massive range, but this is a good thing for the boo laws here. It's just, I think that this could go on for a longer time. Obviously, corrective targets on any sort of a downside move would be around about 83.5 or so. That would be assuming that Bitcoin, you know, dumps out a little bit. Until then, I don't think that this thing's going to be ready anytime soon. I do see that daily volatility is kind of trending down right here. So it's most likely to kind of fill out this range a little bit more. Maybe look for a resolution later this month, or maybe early January is kind of where I'm looking towards on this. Until then, sideways is good for the boo laws as long as you're just not below about 70 cents. And, you know, short-term time frames like a 4 hour. I don't know what time frames are actually going off because you did not say, but, you know, short-term time frames do look like they want to at least test like 94 cents or so, but I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. The most interesting area is above about 180. 180 is where things start to look really good. Until then, I think sideways at best for a while. Think it's still going to be waiting there for a bit. Vince says CKB, so this is Nervo. So remember we looked at this one. Well, I don't remember when we looked at this one. Probably yesterday. Still good here. Yeah, putting in a nice low right around about 2.8 cent. Good. Okay. That's what we want to be seeing. However, the 4 hour does look a little bit ugly, if I'm being honest with you. Okay, so where does this one invalidate the long-term bullish setup? Keep it in mind that we pretty much, okay, so we hit our first target right here. Yes. Did we hit our second target? I was saying 4 cents. This thing got up to 365. Yeah, not quite there. I guess if this one does dump out, I am looking for a rather significant move down about 2.5 cents. I'm not inclined to say that though. Interesting. Let's go to a 12 hour. How did the 5 day close? Okay, 5 days still good. Look, I'm still going to like this chart right here. I'm just not bearish on this thing as long as you're long term, as long as you're above 2.5 cents, especially, but even 2.6 cents on a daily. I'm just looking for a bit of a short term consolidation right here. Maybe one more test of the downside, but still long term, I have to be bullish on a chart that looks like this. Weekly, same thing. Weekly and 5 day both looking quite good. Still would kind of stick with my prior targets. Yeah, very likely to sell off on a test of its prior all-time highs at about 4 cents, just above 4 cents in this case. Upon validation above there, that's where like the big fun party gets started. Until then, a little bit of sideways is kind of what I'm looking for in the short term. Cool. Jack Jansen says MC versus wrapped Ethereum. Okay, this thingy. I remember we looked at this one a week or two ago, and it was actually quite good. And it looks like it's hit one of our targets here. It's got the 1 spot 272. It's kind of selling off that on the first test of that. That's okay. It's to be expected, of course. Really kind of hard to read a chart like this when it doesn't look like it trades that much. I do see a big spike on volume over here. I do see many drives of hidden bullish divergence, but man, that is a weird looking RSL, I'll tell you that. I'm still going to be biased towards an upside continuation here. Volatility is looking to expand off the lows. I only get bearish on this thing below about 2 million or 20 million? I think it's 20 million butyrols. Still looking at, you know, general targets over the next maybe week and a half towards the 1 spot 618 at about, what is that, 33,500,000. It's kind of it's what I think if I have those numbers properly to begin with. Still good, at least for the information that we can see, but kind of a weird chart. Looks like it doesn't get too much trading action going on there. So indicators are all fucked around, sir. Let's see. Jack says Ethereum Bitcoin. Yeah, Ethereum Bitcoin on the 4 hours. So this one, you know, I'm sure a lot of people are going to call that this one is a failure right now based off of the price action from the last like half day. I disagree. And the reason why I disagree isn't because of the 4 hour, it's because of the 5 day. I know you didn't ask about it, but the 5 day closed phenomenally. The 5 day closed above range highs. And it's looking for continuation alongside volatility expansion and, you know, hidden bullish evidence right here. This is really good. Anyways, if you're specifically asked about the 4 hour, I guess the question is, are you putting in a higher low right here or not? I think it's going to have a chance. If it does fail there, I'm looking for a move down to 7.7 million Satoshis, somewhere right around here, right around the 55 on the 4 hour. Until then, I actually do think that short-term time frames like the 4 hour actually will try for a higher low right here. See what an hour looks like. Should be leading that. I actually do think that it will try, but I don't have a strong opinion on whether it actually will be it or not. My strong opinion is on the higher term time frames here, as it has been for like, man, you've been asking about this thing for almost a year now, and I've been saying the same thing on the higher term time frames for basically a year as well, and we're actually starting to finally see it come through. I'm just looking at 4 hour Stokes. They'll turn back up above about 8.25 million Satoshis. Yeah, look, if it wants to take out one more leg down to like 7.7 or 7.8, that's completely fine. My bias is really that you are putting a higher low either here or there. I only get bearish on this thing looking at this one as a failure if you start to close below about 7.7.5 million Satoshis. Until then, this is quite good in my opinion still. 5 day, still up. Yeah, still looking quite good right there. My strong opinion is on trend continuation. So hopefully that was helpful. I know it wasn't exactly maybe what you're looking for, but I just don't feel as confident on the short-term time frames. Like, do we put in a higher low here, come down a little bit more? It's kind of irrelevant, I think, when you look at the higher term time frame picture, but maybe that's just my opinion right there. So hopefully that was in some way helpful. Charles Bottomley said, that is a great last name, man. Charles Bottomley. Oh my God, man. That is a great trader's name. Perp, USD, daily and hourly. Sure. Okay. Symbol PERP. Okay. Binance. All right. You're going on an hourly and a daily, I'm guessing. Yeah. Looks like it really doesn't have too much history here, but it's more bouncy here than not. Probably bouncing up on the daily back up to like 1470 or so. Wouldn't be asking for too much. Hourly, same shit. I only get bearish on this one on the short-term time frames below about 1230 in this case. It's okay. Just a bit of a weird chart right there. Probably doesn't trade too much. Magic Turtle says STX full hour and daily. Okay. All right. Simple STX. Okay, stacks. Yeah, and this one, was this one on the winners list today? Let's just double check. No, but I've seen it there certainly before. Maybe it was even yesterday. All right, anyways, you are looking at a what? Full hour and daily, the tried and true. Short-term toppy, hit extremes on BBWP, a little bit of bearish divergence on that last on the last high right there. That's okay though, because you are pretty much at all-time highs. Yeah, you are at all-time highs actually. First pullback is to be expected. Can come down to about 240, but I would be looking for bounce around there. I'm long-term bullish on this thing, especially as long as it's above 220. Looking for a continuation up and to the right. I mean, it literally just got its breakout yesterday, so I'm actually going to be looking at the macro move right here. I would be looking over the next few weeks for moves up to 435 to 555. Not bad, actually. I'm going to write this one down. STX, sir. Yeah, not bad. Holy shit. Wow, we got a lot of comments still. My lord. Someone said Elsa looks like Yolandi Visser. Nah, not really. Not particularly. Let's see. Okay, where did I leave off here? I think I done goofed. Oh no, I haven't done goofed. We just have a shit ton more comments. Oh my lord. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long one today. All right, well, I should be appreciative. So I'm gonna be appreciative. It's gonna be a difficult one though. But yeah, long term quite good. I might need tea a little bit later, but I think we got through that one, so we are good there. Let's see. GB says Chris. Okay, cool. This is is this a thing? Good bridging? Sorry. SGB. Is this a crypto or something else? It is. Are you talking about Singapore gas and oil? Hold on. Or are you talking about Saigon? I don't know exactly what you're talking about. It would be much better if you could specify. If it's a crypto, it's not on TradingView. If it's a stock, I'm going to guess the closest one is going to be this. Let's see if this is anything. It's okay. Good as long as you're above about 18,300. Looking for this one actually as your next higher low. Working back up your way towards 21,200 or so. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, however. No one 97 says RMRK relative strength in this market bodes well for Bitcoin bounces. Let's see. RMRK, okay, on KuCoin. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Really good chart right here.
Oh my God, you pinned the wrong message.
Did I? Okay, pin the wrong. Okay, we'll post it again. Oh, it says 1 minute. Whoops. All right, that might give the wrong impression. Anyways. Yeah, really good right here. Actually, this one got the breakout. I remember we looked at this one yesterday or the day before, whatever it was. Good. You did confirm above the top side resolution here. I'm still looking for continuation towards about 53.5, and then I would be looking for a pullback from there. It's still likely to look for a long-term continuation after that, but I'd be looking for pullback after that. And short-term, higher low right here, actually quite good. One of the best charts that we've seen today. In fact, bullish, especially as long as above 38.5 would be my validation. All right, cool. Let's see. New 510. There he is. What's up, New 510? Can you look at NYSE daily and up? Okay. All right. Let's see. NYSE. You want to look at the New York Stock Exchange composite? Sure. All right. And you are saying, you mean Krown? Okay. Sorry. You want to look at some weed stocks, huh? Some weed daily and up. Let's see. Like all of the other higher term time frames. Okay, where are we in the grand scheme of things? Okay, I do think that you're going to be ranging for a long time here. You just hit the top side of the range. What happens after you hit the top side of the range? You're going to go typically explore the median of the range at least, and then sometimes even the bottom side of the range. And in this case, probably looking at a move towards maybe a gap fill at about $7.50 over the next following weeks. Yeah, weekly's a rejection as well. Hidden bearish divergence there. I'm looking for downside. Probably does bounce off of 7.5, and then maybe one more run at 5.5 after that, after a failed bounce. Twan Wallet says CGG for and daily. Sure, CGG. Okay, this is Chain Guardians. Remember we looked at this one last week and it was quite good, and I'd still say it's quite good right here. Actually, pretty damn good. Let's see. So we hit our first target right around the 1.272 at 283. Beautiful. Getting our first pullback from there. That is okay. Do I think that we could pull back more towards 165? Yes. Do we bounce first though? That I don't know. I don't know anything, but I don't have a strong opinion on that. I'm inclined to say that this one does pull back first, maybe like to 170 or what was the daily target? 165 to 170 or so, and tries for a higher low right there. Again, this is an uptrend obviously, but you got bearish divergence on the daily. Volatility is trending down, so I'm inclined to say that you get a bit of a pullback first after hitting your first target, and then perhaps longer term, I'd be looking at moves towards, I guess, $4 or just under $4, maybe later this month, early January, but pull back first most likely. Let's see. Shell Wong Kim says bad PO chart again. Oh man, again SLP. Okay, so I'm very confident that this is a reward token, so this one probably is going to be sold into oblivion. So we will see. Oh, it's getting sold into oblivion. Yeah, man, reward tokens were made to be sold, so I would not fight the trend in this case. Extremely bearish as long as you're below basically 9.7 cent. Yeah, really ugly. This one looks like it's about to continue to trend. In this case, continuation of trend is to the downside. Volatility's ticking up. Momentum oscillators are all bearish. Not great. I don't really have targets on something like this. It's in a black hole breakdown, but that's where I get bullish on it again, I guess. I feel like that's kind of hopium. Short-term time frames like a 4-hour. Just look ugly. Yeah, it looks very, very ugly, man. I don't know. I think that these charts, unless you can short them, are better to stay away from. There's just easier charts, man. I mean, maybe it gives you a pump and dump. I think that's a hopium, something like this over here, but that's not real charting. That's just kind of hoping and praying. Let's see. Skating the Mystery says tentacle analysis on CRV. We just got that one. Still long-term good. Just want to see it hold above. I think it was it 220 or was it 320? Whatever it was. It was just a few moments ago, or about 10 minutes ago. Leif is back. We already did Litecoin. I'm guessing that you thought that we skipped you or something, but no, it just takes some time to get to people, man. So yeah, we got Litecoin there. G Squared, good morning to you, man, and thank you for that emoticon. Nice one, actually. That looks like a Moomy. That actually looks like a Moomy. It does. It does look like a Moomy. Common Sense says, nice name. Clever, sir. Very clever. Sand, one in daily. Sure. All right, Sand, USD. Okay, let's see. Where are we at on Sand? Daily. I do think that this one is probably going to test around your last daily low, which is 28th of November at 570 or so. Technically I shouldn't look for a breakdown before it actually happens, but I do think that this one is going to likely try for it here. The hopium is that you do have lower lows on RSI, and this would be a higher low if it can confirm a local low right here. So how would it actually do that? Well, popping back above, and especially closing above 660 would do it. And then yes, you will have hidden bullish divergence, and you will have short-term targets back to 7.25, and probably even just retest the top side of your range at $8 after that. That's the hopium, but again, a little bit of work needs to be done. Until then, assuming that doesn't happen, I'd be looking for maybe a leg down somewhere around about 5.5 and a bounce there. Somewhere around there would be okay. Still, long term, this is good. Just, we do have bearish divergence. We do have extremes on volatility. Probably, I think that this one's still kind of going sideways at best, to be honest with you. Let's see. That was Common Sense.
Did you do skating the mystery?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but he said my CRV already got red. Could I change that to AVAX daily?
Yeah, we can do AVAX, yeah. Let's see, where's the AVAX here? 117. I think this one's very similar to Solana in a lot of cases, in the sense that going sideways here, but sideways is good for the BULAs. What's our range? I guess I've already got my luck blinds in here. Look, I'm going to be bullish on this thing as long as you're above $100, but it is a big range on the short-term time frames. I think maybe we did do this one earlier. Anyways, I would call the range resolved to the upside with any sort of a move back above yesterday's high, or a 4-hour closure above 128, essentially. Looking for moves back up towards 145 to 150 after that, and probably continuation of trend over the long-term timeframes from there. Short-term timeframes, though, are, it's kind of similar to the last one, right? It's like, do we have a higher low right here? Well, Not yet. How would you confirm a higher low? Back above about 121. That would look okay. Until then, I'm a little more biased towards another fill out of the downside of the range. Again, with the overall notion in mind that anything above $100 is long-term good, that does imply that you can come down to 109, 110 and still be okay. And I'll just be looking for higher lows between about 105 to 110 or so. Unhelpful, I know, but I do think that this one's a lot more likely to go sideways for a while as we do let volatility start to cool off a little bit more. Again, sideways is good for the blue laws, but I expect that it does take time. Maybe the 5-day will tell us. Okay, 5 days actually still pretty damn good, but you could easily have a backfill down to 105 and, you know, still would be looking for a bounce there, I guess. I'd want to come back to that one, to be fair. Is this shilling? No, no, it's fine. Gong Gyotu says pull up at AVA Pay is printing money reflection token. Maybe that is a little bit of shilling. No, man, we're not going on Dextriner. As always, we only use TradingView because that's where all the tools are, and we can try it over here. And maybe it will be there, but it looks like it is not. So unfortunately, we can't look at it, man. I do apologize about that. We're happy to look at anything that's on TradingView, but we will not go on other exchanges because it's just not going to make sense anyways. And it's probably like super new if it's not on TradingView. It'll just be unhelpful, and I won't have a good opinion on it. So I'd probably just say I wouldn't know, you know. So in the future, you know, it would be much better if you check beforehand if it's on TradingView or not. Mylene Gomes says RNDR. Okay, so this is render. Remember this one was popular. Yeah, I think that this one's found a bit of a high here, hasn't it? Yeah, a bit of bearish divergence coming off the high right there. If it does take out if Bitcoin dumps out, I'm looking for this one around 414 to 415 or so. Weekly, again, long-term good, but does it correct short-term? Probably yes. Full hour is a bit of a breakdown. I would say that short-term would be okay again, back above $6, but until that happens, I'm probably looking for another move to the downside and higher lows, somewhere around low $4 region. You know, you just went on a pretty phenomenal run right there. It's kind of likely to take a bit of a cooling phase. I mean, it went up 828% without any real pullback. I think it's safe to say that one's probably coming down. Very, very likely to consolidate at best, and this one would still be long-term good, even as long as you're above like $3. But I do think you're probably going to come down to like 4.25 or so. Cool. All right, let's see. Investing in Texas high Krown. Please show nano fibs take profit levels for long-term. Sir, there has to be like that to begin with. So let's just double check that there even is something like that over here. I think that people just like the fibs because it kind of implies hopium targets. No, there's nothing to do like that on Nano. This thing is a laggard of a chart. It's very, very weak in comparison to the rest of the market. There's absolutely zero reason to look at long-term fibs here because it's not even anywhere near breaking out. It would assume that this is going to be a healthy consolidation right here, but what I see is lower highs on the weekly, and you're already testing around your prior lows, which is not a good sign. Here's the hopium though. If you want the hopium, I'll give you the hopium, but look, I'm telling you straight up, this is a fucking shitcoin of a chart, man. This is fucking awful. This thing is just garbage. I remember it got promoted a shit ton in 2017 and 2018, and you saw something like this, and that's what got a lot of people in. It's done very, very little, very poorly since then, very, very poorly. While everything else in this market was going to the moon and beyond in early 2021, this thing didn't even test its all-time highs. It's not a good sign at all. If we go to a monthly, ugly. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing at 420 first. Great number. Before trying any upside, but here, I'll give you the hopium though. But understand that this is like this. I do not believe that this is happening. Let's see. Okay, so a break above about 810, and I guess I'm just looking for moves towards basically your prior highs at 12.5 to maybe $13. If you break above your prior highs on this rally, well, I'm just looking for a retest of your prior all-time highs at $25 to $26. It's not like it's just a very uninteresting chart in my opinion. But again, you know, maybe you believe in the technology or something. That's a different game. I'm not saying that it has bad technology. I don't know fuck all about its technology. I know I can say about its chart though. It's just really not a good sign when you have something from 2017 that is nowhere near its 2017, 2018 highs. And here's the thing. Here's the real chart. Here's the real chart. Ugh. Ugh. Like that's a Lexington Steel chart right there. It's not great. So the hopium is that you get back above 730, but that is just not the most likely thing to happen right now, as this thing's barely holding on to lows. So it's going to require an extremely strong broad market. Let's say Bitcoin goes above $70,000. Maybe at that point you see this thing retest around, you know, $12.5 to $13. It really requires like a very strong broad market. Until then, you know, if Bitcoin shows any weakness, this thing's going to get absolutely fucking just smacked. If Bitcoin shows any weakness, this thing actually might full on break down, but at least like 420 to 410 or so if that were to happen. Anyways, again, just purely talking about charts there, man. Just purely talking about charts. Gohan's mom says, "Hey Krown, what's up? What's up, Gohan's mom? Can we have a look at block? I think we already did that one. Symbol BLOK over here. I think that this one was coming back down into range. Yeah, into the range here. What?
She said, can we look crow or sand instead?
Crow? CRO?
CRO.
Okay. Yeah. We can do CRO. Certainly. All right. Let's go to Bittrex. Again, consolidating after the highs. I'm not like super like excited about this chart, nor am I bearish on this chart necessarily. Let's see what the daily looks like. Let's put it back on the let's put back on the bull goggles, aka log scale. It's kind of weird looking here, to be fair. Okay, is this the same on maybe like KuCoin? Okay, it's not. Okay. Interesting. I guess the hopium is that the consolidation is going to happen above about 65 cents. Long term, this is obviously going to be good. The question is, where does the next higher low come in around? If 65 cents does fail, I'd be looking for big moves down towards 50 cents and try for a higher low there. But here's a situation. You're working off of two major extreme conditions on daily BBWP, and you do have bearish divergence on the daily RSI as well. So I'm a lot more hesitant to call that this is going to be like the next low area right here. I would say that it's going to look a lot better, significantly better, above about 81 cents or 82 cents, even on a 4 hour. That would make me think that this is going to be the next major low, and you very likely do test around your dollar highs and probably trend towards new highs. I'd imagine like 110 to 120 after that. But until then, caution obviously below about 65 or 64 cents, even on a 4 hour. And then, I would be looking for a nice little dump down to low 50 cent. And of course, whatever Bitcoin does, this one probably follows on top of that. So if Bitcoin does salvage itself here, you probably see this one test the top side of the range. If Bitcoin fails, well, you already know. Let me take a sip of this now. Oh man. There we go. All right, sweet. Let's see. Rapture says, "Hey Krown, hey man, hope you're having a great day as well. Gala USD on the 4 hour and daily. Sure. GALA. No one's asked about this one today, and it's usually quite popular because it goes on these major tears. It's almost like you couldn't even tell the difference between this chart and Crow on the 4 hour here. So I pretty much have the same thing to say about this one as that. Like again, you hit extreme here's on the BBWP. You got some bearish evidence on daily RSI. It went on a phenomenal run. Again, here is your real chart. This thing went up pretty much unabated. About 800%, right? Like that's significant. I think at best it's going sideways for a while, and at worst you break down below about 53.75 cent, and I'd be looking for moves towards 40 cents after that. Again, it'd still be having higher lows essentially as long as you're above like 30 cents. So that's quite unhelpful, but that's the problem with going to the moon, is that you don't build up any support along the way, and the way you go up is typically the way you come down. So I wouldn't necessarily call that move to the downside just yet, but we are seeing some more corrective metrics here, especially on the daily. I'd only get excited about this one once again above 73 cents. At that point, this one starts to look quite good again. Until then, I do think it's corrective and sideways at best. At worst, it dumps out alongside probably Bitcoin as well. I like turtles. Says, can you look at the tether chart? The tether dominance chart. Okay, that could be interesting. USDT.D. Okay, let's see. I've actually never really put too much thought into this chart, but maybe there's some interesting things about it. Okay, so it's on a general uptrend over a long period of time. Does that mean anything though? Well, when was the last time that this thing really got going to the upside? That was starting in May. Oh no. That was starting in May and ended in July alongside the lows for Bitcoin. And is this thing put in another major low right here and a higher low at that as well? Could very well. I mean, what was this one over here? February 20. And that was right before, oh my God, that was right before the flu dump. I'm glad that you pointed this out. I'm very glad that you pointed this out, Turtles. I never really put too much thought into this, but thank you for that, because this is looking like a major low right here. And all of the uptrends have not been too nice to price action across the board for crypto. So perhaps a good cautionary signal. I'm trying to think of a counterpoint to this, but no, I think, yeah, I think this is certainly very much well worth being aware of. Yeah, all of the downtrends correlate with major macro moves on Bitcoin, especially. All the uptrends, well, macro moves to the downside in this case. Very interesting, and that would be more on the bearish side. Very interesting. Thank you for calling that one out, man. Cool. Crypto Bro says backs USD on the daily. Sure. Don't think I've ever seen this one. This is symbol BABB. Oh, it's good. It goes up. It goes up, baby. Again, the problem with going to the moon is that you don't build any support to the downside, but you know, as long as this thing's above about, what is this? 1/10 of a cent, it's okay. I look at the breakout as real and probably likely to retest around your May highs, I'm guessing. Yeah, your May highs are like 1.7. Problem is that this thing likely will retrace at some point, but for right now it's trending, so fair enough. Looking for that one to trade a little bit higher first before the inevitable pullback. I think you are getting really, really close there. Somewhere between about 1.6 to 1.7 or so is where I'd be looking for. But yeah, a nice move right there. Okay, cool. I think we got that one. Jack Jansen wants to look at VRA. Okay, symbol VRA, USD, sweet. On Bittrex, and another sideways consolidation right here at best. Short-term timeframes, not super confidence inducing. What does the 5-day look like? Yeah, this one's very likely put in a major high for a while. 1, 2, 3 drops of bearish divergence on 5-day RSI. 5-day BBWP is trending down, so we are contracting here. So again, at best, this one's going to be trading sideways for a while. The hoping is that it holds essentially above 5 cents, below 5 cents. Sorry, make that 4.9 cents. 4.9 cents on a daily. I do look for corrective phases down to 3.7 or so and try for a higher low there. Until then, I guess the hoping is that you are going to try for a higher low right here. At about 5.2, 5.3, that will look a lot better above about 7 cents. 7.1 cents in this case. That would look a lot better. Until then, I'm a lot more inclined to say, you know, short-term bouncy, medium and long-term corrective. In macro, still, you know, good. You still do have your higher lows, but again, it can come down significantly and still hold those. Really not worth getting excited for as long as you're below, again, about 7 cents or so. Juvian official says, what you do to keep in shape? Looking studly. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Well, I go to the gym usually and I eat pretty much only meat and fruit. It's good, man. I have a great nutritionist and personal trainer, so they kind of keep me on top of things. And thanks for noticing, man. Appreciate that. Will Rin says, mute. Okay. Maybe I'm getting trolled by this move. Let's see. It is not on TradingView, whatever it is. But it is on TradingView actually versus Ethereum, and it ain't that bad either. Well, it's kind of gone on a pretty massive run right there. Let's see, is it more likely to come down or not? No time frames given. Where the fuck do I go with on this one? I don't know, but daily's actually still good here. I would not call a correction until you actually do close below basically yesterday's low at 4,800. What is that? 4,800,000 or butyrols. I'd be looking for moves down towards basically 4 million, I guess. Even until then, I'm looking for a continuation here. Daily's still good. 4 hour, 4 hours, yeah, 4 hours bullish as long as you're above about 4.8, whatever that number is right there. Looking for sideways and up, I guess. I don't really feel too confident on something like this. It doesn't really trade all that much. Weekly's kind of nasty, but 5-day kind of reveals that. Still overall good over the long period of time. Just short term if it wants to pull back. I'd be looking for big bases somewhere around that upper 3 region. Jesus Christ, man, this is one weird looking piece of work. For what it's worth, though, it's still bullish on pretty much all time frames. So I'd really only be looking for pullbacks again below about that 4.8 number right there. Until then, sideways into the up, sideways into the right. No, sideways and up. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Apologies, man. What's up, Simply Gains? IOI daily, we continuing to trend to new highs. Let's see. Not me, man. I'm not in this thing. IOI token on KuCoin. Yeah. Good. Very, very good, actually. Very, very good. I'm going to write this one down, actually. IOI, okay. We are on a 4 hour, and you're looking at a daily as well. I'm looking for a short-term continuation, very likely somewhere around about $5 to $5.20. Looking very good right there. Daily is obviously holds the breakout, retests it perfectly, and a closure above about $5 especially. And I'd be initiating the next sort of continuation targets over the next few weeks here towards basically $6 plus. Would look quite good. Would look quite good indeed, actually. Let's see, where else did I? Oh my God, we still have quite a few here. Yep, a deal. We just got mute. Daily breakout targets. I mean, the breakout kind of already happened, but I guess we'll just briefly go back there just for a hot second here. Do I have continuation targets on something like this? I don't really feel comfortable calling continuation on this, even though all timeframes are uptrend. And you did kind of sell off on the 2 spot 618 right there, which is usually a good place to look for consolidation. So I'm a lot more inclined to say that while this one is still bullish on all time frames, still I think it's a lot more likely to trade sideways from there. If it does want to take out the current highs, then I guess next targeted regions would be like 7.2 to 7.6, which is kind of crazy. Again, I don't think that that's very likely right now, but fair enough. Sweet Lou says, urgent. Happy holidays, everyone. Hey, happy holidays to you as well, man. Dahlia, the Golden Doodle, says, can you have a look at Arweave AR? Okay. AR USD. 4 hour daily. Got it. Love the podcast. Sweet. Good to hear. Very good to hear. Daily. Actually consolidating in a pretty good fashion right here. I only call a reversal on this one below about $46.50. I guess we charted this before, and I get quite excited about this one above $75. Until then, short-term sideways is good, but short-term, I'm looking for a short-term move to the upside, actually, back around 64, maybe even $65. Above 65 on a 4 hour closure, I do look for this one to retest the top side of the range. I'm not calling a breakout out of the top side of the range, just a retest of it. Closure above there, and then I'd be looking for a retest of your prior time highs. But this one's in a lot better of a posture, and I do actually think that this one is putting in a higher low right here. Again, only bearish, really, not even below about 46.5. It's really like more around here at 51. Actually quite constructive right there, not bad. Let's see. Peter Lackstrom says hero. Okay, hourly and daily hero. It's meta hero. Okay, on KuCoin, really good as well. Wow. Powerful chart. Jesus Christ. And this one's kind of similar to the other one that we saw. It's trending in all time frames, but man, I do not feel comfortable calling continuation from here, but the daily still says so. Yes, we are at extremes, but this one's very, very new. Let's see. Do we hit any of the major areas here? Yeah, we're at the 2.618 right now, or a little bit higher than that. Sorry, let me actually get this properly. I think that you might see one more drive towards 27 to 27.5 cent, but I do want to express that I think that you're very, very close to a major high right here, and then probably do play at a consolidation sideways and down from that. So maybe one more drive towards new highs, and if that doesn't happen, I'd look for a correction, or I'd call a corrective phase below 21 cent if that area does get tagged. Even on a 4 hour closure. Until then, yeah, still maybe one more drive to the upside, but I think that you're a lot closer to the highs there than not. Twat Moner says, can I get some general TA on EWT? Hey, sweet, man. Yes. Okay. So you're from Elio Trades channel. Sweet, man. Yeah, I really enjoy doing videos on this channel. It's a lot different of a vibe, but it's good to kind of practice expressing myself in that way as well. Actually, you know what, man? I'm probably gonna highlight this coin on today's video. Credit to you. Maybe I'll give you. Maybe I'll shout out your name if I'll write it down. Let's see the daily right here. Yeah, actually quite interesting. Whatever this thing is, just want to see a daily closure above. I don't know when the last time I charted this thing was, but that's going to be 1171. Still working on that one, and I'll be looking for moves back up towards $13.5 to $14. Looks quite good. It does look like a nice higher low right here. In fact, it very likely is. Volatility is picking up. It's good. It's quite good. I don't know if you're on this time frame, however, but 4 hour just putting a higher low right here, so I am bullish with an invalidation below $10.5. Very easy on that one, actually. Let's see. Crypto Slave, appreciate that, brother. Is Elon get a token? Okay, I'll try it. It is. What the fuck? Oh my god. It's zero. It's actually zero. It's actually a scam. It actually rugged all the way to death. Wow, that's a hell of a chart. Don't get to see don't get to see that every day. Juvian says, just here for the MJ comments. Oh my fucking man. I wrecked your anus says, hey, hello. Thanks, man. Breakfast biscuit. I love those buttermilk biscuits, bro. Can I get EGLD? I think we did EGLD. Elrond, right? On the 4 hour and daily. Okay. Did we do this one? Maybe not. Oh yeah, we did do this one. Whether you have, your next low right here, it's about 330. I don't have a strong opinion on, but wait, no. I remember this one. Yeah, we looked at this one on a weekly. I am a lot more inclined to say that this one actually does put in a major high right here. We got multiple drives of bearish divergence on a weekly RSI. 4 drives actually. 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Hit extremes on the daily BBWP certainly. So while you're going to see some bounces along the way, any bounce that fails to get back above 475, I am just looking at as a failure. There's probably going to be a decent bounce at like 330 as well. And I guess the hopium is that the bounce brings you back up above 445. And then I guess I'd be bullish on it again, but I really want to express that I don't think that that's what's happening here. Not that you need my opinion. It's just, this one, we see a lot more signs of toppiness and toppy behavior here than not. And again, look, this chart went basically just straight up, no real pullbacks for 500%. I think it's reasonable to be looking for a bit of a consolidation. Long-term, major base at about 230 actually. And it'd still be bullish there too. That's a crazy thing. I mean, shit, even 270 should bounce it rather well as well. Again, it's going to depend on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin, picks it up here, it at least will hold sideways, and that will be the hopium. But until then, if Bitcoin dumps out, this thing very likely comes down hard. Still long-term good though, but long-term can be a very long time. Real G squared wants to look at quant. It's just QNT. Yeah, it's QNT. There we go. Well, I'll just type it in anyways. Why not, man? On KCoin and breakdown, baby. Oh man, it's a breakdown. It's a nasty one too. Probably looking at this one to trade down towards 160 or so and then try for a bounce there. Yeah, really, really ugly price action. Whenever you see something like this where it kind of rolls over, that is distribution by definition. And it's not following the rest of the market. It's barely participating in upside moves and it's overperforming in downside moves. So I'd be looking for bounces relatively soon. I mean, you're very, very close to it, but any bounce that fails to get back above about 280 or about 280. I could even say like 295, but I'll say 280 in this case is just going to be another lower high. I don't like this chart. It's getting sold really, really aggressively right here. But you're looking for a bounce relatively soon, whether it's, here at 190 or a little bit lower at about 165 respectively. I don't have a strong opinion on, but bounces, do not confuse them with reversals. I don't think that this thing's reversing anytime soon. That is an ugly chart on the long term. Oh, you're just asking about a 4 hour. Sorry. Still pretty ugly, but you will have some regular bullish divergence with any sort of a local low here. How would you confirm a local low? Our 4 hour close above 198 and a quarter would do it. And then yes, I'd be looking for a move towards 205 to 210. Darby Hackathon says FET daily and 4 hour. Okay. FET. Yeah, we haven't looked at this one in months now. It's got to be. And I imagine why it's going sideways as fuck, man. Yeah. All right. So on this one, let's see. We got a range right here. We got a range right here. We could even move this one up just an ever so slight amount. As long as it's above this region at 66 cents, I do give the nod to the boo laws here below 66 cents. I do look for big moves to the downside, 45 to 50 cents minimum. For right now, I think that you're going to be consolidating for a long time. Contracting volatility very likely fills out this area more, but the good news is that you do have a likely higher low right here. I just wouldn't get too excited about it as long as you're, below this area right here. Resolution above 94.5 cent on a daily closure. Till then, not super interesting. 4 hour, could very easily come back down to 71 to 72 cents. It's not going to really mean much, in my opinion. The long-term range is a lot less inspiring, to be fair. Let's see. Mr. Ladaweek says, why don't you talk much about your history with trading options on NYSE? Been watching your stream since February 21. Always wondered where you learned how to read charts. Eager to learn your ways. Why don't I talk too much about my history? I mean, I've kind of talked about it a lot in the past, and I don't know. It's just kind of gets boring for me, really. I think a lot of people have a weird idea of what that looks like. And to be 100% direct with you, I traded on New York Stock Exchange ARCA, which is on the West Coast, in comparison to NYSE, which is obviously in New York, but I was in San Francisco, there in New York. It's all the same shit, to be fair. Anyways, why don't I talk too much about my history trading options? Well, I was a market maker authorized trader there, so the strategies that I was using during that time weren't really applicable to that. Yeah, I did look at charts, and yeah, I would do a bit of technical analysis, but I was mostly playing the reversal conversion markets, which is a completely different game. So that's also why I don't really talk about it. Joe Campbell says, hey man, all good, brother. FTM daily and 4 hours. Sure. And then we got one more, baby. One more. Wow. 2 hours and 20 minutes into this one. They're getting too damn long. FTM, hopium is that you're putting a low at 190, below 190. Send this one back all the way to 1.5 weekly. I guess you do have a little bit of hopium here. 5 day, yeah, a little bit of hopium here. Okay, fair enough. Maybe we do talk about the hopium in this case. Hopium will be confirmed with a daily closure back above about 257 or just a full hour above 275 in this case. And I'd be looking for big moves back up towards 310 to 320. And this would look really, really good if that were to happen. Until then, though, this one does look corrective here. I imagine we probably have, we did have major drops of bearish evidence, but played out a good downside move from there. Did call a good top on this one. Yeah, that's a 50% move to the downside. I mean, that's very relevant to say that one's probably played out. Sideways is good for the boo laws here. Just don't want to see this one break below about 190. Otherwise, $1.50 where I'm looking towards. But corrective at best for the short-term timeframes, within this range right here. Probably puts in a few more wicks down to 190, but as long as it doesn't break below that, that's okay. I just want to see resolution above 2.5 essentially, and that'll look good. Monthly, just out of curiosity. Monthly does look like a major high, though, I will say. Jesus Christ. As does the bi-weekly. Look, I feel like I might be feeding you some hopium, man. But again, I'd still stick with what I said. Below 190 on a daily closure, very, very bad. Not very, very bad, but very likely to come down much further after that. Jai Crypto says, link Ethereum weekly. Okay. So we're just, whoops, do it like this. Okay, I'm gonna imagine that it's likely trending to the downside, and it is. Oh yeah, it is. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. So where's the next major bounce? Probably somewhere right around about 43.50 if you're on the weekly, which I believe you are, and you are. Nice. All right. You're at that trends are very likely to continue, and that is a fucking ugly one. Well, it's beautiful for the barrels, but I do think you're getting ready for a bounce very, very soon here, but maybe one more drive to the downside, about 45.80 to 4,600 or so. So you're very, very close there. Very, very close there. Let me actually just dial this in. All right, where are we at right now? Yeah, maybe just, somewhere around there. You're a lot closer to a major bounce than not, but, even once you reach that target, you're probably going to spend some time bouncing around it before, like, the big bad bounce. Until then, this is just a meltdown this is a volcano chart. That's what it is, man. Very, very ugly. Alrighty, sirs and zers. It's been an absolute pleasure on this nice little Thursday morning over here from, well, actually somewhat of a bright Helsinki, Finland right now. Bitcoin still doing its dance of death, but still failing to break down. So that's a good sign. Maybe Bitcoin lifts the rest of the market up off its bootstraps. Same shit as before. Same shit as the last few days here. Below 56, I'm looking for a move below 56 on an hourly closure. I'm looking for a nice extension down towards the CME gap, 54,500 to 54,000 bucks even, and then very likely a bounce there. Something like this perhaps. And then above 59,000 bucks on Bitcoin. Good. I need to see a closure above there again. This is why we have so many failures on a wick here. So a closure above there would look quite good. Until then, short-term time frame range, just that. The rest of the market very likely mirrors whatever Bitcoin does, and Ethereum still very much like it on the higher term time frames after a little bit of this pullback. So fair enough. Want to wish you well once again. Take care. It's been an absolute pleasure, and until next time.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename